My name is Chris Claremont. You're watching OMNI X-Men.
That is right. We are back with some OMNI X-Men here to break down Wolverine, the limited edition or limited series, issues 3 and 4. My name is Justin, aka No Good Comics. Welcome back to the channel. Yeah, it's good to be back on the channel here. We got a ton tonight because we're talking 2 issues, and I say we because it's not just me. It is my good friend and co-host John from John's Comics with Kids. John.
Oh, hey! I'm just putting my slabs up. I know we got MORB on tonight. I know
nice. He loves slabs. Nice.
I got all my Wolverine slabs up here.
I love how shiny it is.
Yeah. I got some 9.8s, 9.6s. There's some Wolverine here. Yeah.
Nice.
Know that my guy loves the slabs.
He does. Yeah, nice. A lot of blue labels I see.
Very nice. Some blue labels.
Yes, yeah. Very cool. How's it going, John?
Doing all right. Gotta get our guests pumped up, get them excited.
Yeah. You're giving them a heart attack already.
I will say, I was over on Morb's channel right before this.
Yeah.
You guys should check out the conversation he was having tonight. It was fantastic. It was really good.
Absolutely. And like you just said, we have. Ooh, did I just hit the wrong button here? Where's my background? Man, all right, I'm all apart here, John.
Morb will be happy because I got this whole series raw. I don't actually have the slabs for this. I got all these raw dogging.
Those are nice.
Raw beauties here.
I have one that's being held for me at Zap, by the way, so I'll have to show that off tomorrow.
They're very
pretty. Let's bring on our special guest for the night, our good friend Morbius. Yo.
Oh, speaking of blue labels,
it's a bloodbath. Look at that.
What's going on here? Is it hot in here or is it just me?
What up, Morb?
What's going on? Thank you guys for having me on the show, man. Love it, man. It's been so long since I've been able to hang out with you two amazing gentlemen.
Right,
love it, man. Thank you for having me, for real. Man.
Absolutely, man. You're one of the best guests to have on, man.
Man.
Always got lots to say, and I appreciate it.
Oh, man.
We're talking some Wolverine tonight. I know you both. That's your boy. He's becoming one of my top favorites. Oh man, so nice.
Oh,
yeah.
I got actually 2 sets, guys.
I was just gonna ask. I was wondering if you had a second set or not.
Yeah, I got another set here. There's another set over here.
Is that did you own these or are these like ones that you had bought from like a long time ago? Or?
Yes. These this one is the original set.
Oh, okay.
You know, this one I got about, I would say roughly 22 years ago.
Yeah.
25 years ago. I was really young when I got this set, and then this is the upgrade. Because obviously I read the shit out of it. It's all fucking ticked and nicked and fucking you name it.
Yeah, my original set did not survive.
Right, my shit is all not.
I had those in the 80s and I had to upgrade. These are the ones I got in adulthood.
Exactly. It's a must have. You have to upgrade, man.
Oh,
you have to.
Yep.
You know, so yeah, man, definitely. So I'm happy with my upgrade. Of course, I had to get them on Newsies. Nice. You know, just like the original. So
yeah, I don't think I have a single newsie in my life. Oh, I have issue ones and issue ones got.
There you go. You gotta have that issue one.
See, now I feel like I'm gonna have to get both sets.
You know what, Justin? You know, you messed me up, man. When a long time ago, when I was like talking about my McFarlane run, I was like, yeah, you know, we got and Justin was like, yeah, I got them all newsstand.
Yeah.
And I was just like, a word. All of them. Not like 1 or 2. Like, all of them
come dropping it in.
He came swooped in on me. I was like, you know what?
Show you up.
Yeah, I was like, I'm done.
It's funny because I'm like this new collector. I'm like,
exactly. I got them all and the newsstand, and I'm just like,
got this ugly striping on the cover.
I don't know. They got like these funny little like drawings on the corners that I don't know about.
I love it. Well, appreciate you. And hey, everybody watching, whether you're here right now, we got 11 people, or if you're watching the replay, make sure you're subbed up to Morbius. Follow his channel. Follow him over on Instagram. Put both links down in the description below.
Because if you don't, you're not a real collector. I'm just telling
you. No, not a real collector, a pure collector.
Pure collector.
That really rouses.
I get that pure collector
pure in there. You know?
It really does, Ralph.
I like the pure collector.
that fucking gets him.
Yeah.
Guys, not to curse.
It's a little.
No cursing. No cursing.
It's not my channel.
It's your. You're all right.
You do whatever the fuck you want.
You do. Yeah.
I really fucking appreciate that. You guys are the fucking best. You know that. Without you motherfuckers, I would not be in this fucking position right now.
Can I just say, I like how he checks if he can curse, and he's already dropped like.
I know, I already dropped like 5 of those shit. Like I'm like, yo, can I curse?
Like,
we're in the double digits now.
Cool with that?
So great. All right. And then make sure you're following John as well, because we're going to be back over on John's channel, and we're going to go back to the main series after we were talking with Gore Vidal for 171?
171. Yeah. The first time Rogue joins the X-Men. That's what we're going to get next issue.
So
nice.
So let's say a quick load of the chat, then we'll get into a question or two here, and then we'll jump into things. I know like I said, a jam-packed evening here with 2 books, but we'll see what we can do. Try not to stream for 8 hours. First up, we got Ryan Magic Lasso in the house. What's going on, Ryan? It says, question, what are Wolverine's favorite type of cookies? Answer, Snickerdoodles.
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 We got
actually
Adam
pretty good.
Up.
That was pretty good.
What up, Adam? Good to see you, brother. He says, I'm here on time for the first time. Nice job. Well done. Of course, the Jackson Roy Kirk. Good to see you, my friend. Let's see. We got Alex in the chat. AGH Comics. What's going on, Alex? Good to see you. We got Daryl hanging out with us as well. He says, had the late 80s trade. Nice.
I've got an older trade of it over. I'll go grab it. Hold on.
Nice. We got Candace in the house as well. What is up, Candace? Good to see you. Candace and I have been reading the Spider-Woman series recently.
Nice. Dude, are you done with that? Are you done?
I got like 8 issues to go.
Nice, man. I saw that.
Yeah, it's coming together.
And then you Miss Marvel. I was just like
that too. Yeah.
I was gonna
like
DM
12.
you real quick.
I'm like 12 away from that. Yeah.
You almost there.
Good thing it's a lot smaller of a series. So. He's back. All right, we're just talking Miss Marvel. Don't worry about it.
I can only find the newer one, so I don't know where the older one went. I got extra trades. I got lots of trades.
Yeah, trade.
Maybe we'll give them away at the end of the season here. Hey, Conlon Comics in the house. What's going on, brother? He says, finally catching the Omni X-Men. Good to see you, man. And we got Gore Vidal, just talking about him as well. He was our guest previously when we were doing the X-Men 170. So good to see you.
Nice.
All right, so we're caught up right now. Appreciate everybody for coming. Make sure you smash the like button if you haven't already. Before we get into the issue, we like to ask our guests a couple of mutant or X-Men related questions. So John, would you like to ask MORB a question here?
MORB. I mean, you've been collected Marvel, you've been reading Marvel for a long time. I'm very curious, what is your earliest recollection of a Marvel X related comic that you bought? Like, what is that? Can you think back to like the first mutant or X book that you purchased?
Okay, now as far as me purchasing, I am going to say it's going to be is it 283? You know,
from the main
title? From the main run, right? I believe it was 283.
Like Cable? Oh no,
no, that's not Bishop. That's after Bishop.
That's after Bishop.
I'm sorry, Cable.
Yeah, it was after Bishop. You know, and that's when I started picking up the run. But
where they got the 2 teams,
right. So before that, though, you know, the book that really like stood out to me was 200. Now, the reason why 200 stood out to me is because that was part of my brother's collection. And, right. So if those who don't know, you know, my brother was the one who inspired me, who actually indoctrinated me and schooled me on collecting comic books and, you know, and taught me how to collect comic books and how to take care of them and treat them. And, you know, so when he had all his books out, that 200, man, just really stood out to me. You know, and he never let me touch his books. You know, that's one thing. My older brother, I'm talking about my oldest. I have 2 older brothers. I'm the youngest of 3. So the middle brother was the one who defended me, and he's the one who continued collecting with me. But my oldest brother was the one who introduced it to both of us.
Nice.
You know, he would come home with a book, read it, put it down, and then we try to grab it, and he'd be like, don't touch that fucking, don't. Leave it right there. Just look at it. He would just tell me, just look. He was such a bully. My older brother was such a bully. He would just look at it.
I'm the middle of 3 brothers, so I feel you on this.
You feel that, right? He's like,
it's the Trial of Magneto, the original with that great cover.
Exactly,
with
the handcuffs, right?
Yeah. So that 200
book
to
is
me,
phenomenal.
It just sticks out to me, you know. And it was one of those books that I just felt like, wow, this is so fucking awesome. Like that cover. You know, it's so amazing, you know, but I never really got a chance to read it until I got older, because when I bought my own issue. So I would have to say X-Men 200 is that book that really, like, as far as X-Men goes, that got me like, wow, like I was able to pick this up. I loved it when my brother had it, and then I'm able to get my own copy. Right. You know, so I really cherish that book. And that's one of those books that stand out to me. It was actually on my wall for a few years. You know, I had that on there, you know, for a long time until Paul got on my ass, and then he made me change stuff around. And you know, shout out to Paul, man. Paul is always beating me up, man.
Everybody needs an older brother.
You know,
yeah.
You gotta have somebody that helps you sharpen your sword. You know what I mean? You gotta have that person that's constantly like
somebody who helps you sharpen your story. I like that.
Right? You know what I'm saying? Always.
I'm gonna use that.
And Paul is that guy, man. Paul is that guy. So shout out to Paul Morris, PJ Morris, man.
But that's a great one because that's one of some of my earliest reads too. We're in that early 200s into the Marauders Massacre.
Yes, man.
All that first like 20 issues in the 200s.
Yes,
those are freaking boss books.
I think I have 200, but I've never read it. Just
that is amazing. You gotta
right season 5. Was season 5.
That 200, 200 to 300. Oh, wow. It's like that's the definition of like my teenage years, like 200 to 300.
201 with Storm versus Cyclops. Like so good.
You know,
so we're gonna have to wait till is it really season 5, John?
Well, that's like season 3.
We're in 3, but that's a whole other.
We got
that's a whole. 4. That's like
that's season after next.
Season 4 goes through like the early 190s.
Just make sure y'all bring me back for X-Men 200. Just bring me back for that.
Yes, we'll
bring me back for 200, so we can get a nice in-depth story on that one. That's awesome. But yeah, to answer your question, that would be it, man. That would be it as far as X-Men. You know,
I want to ask. I like asking this question, and for Morb especially. Morb, if you could choose a superpower or mutant power focused around an X-Men or mutant, what power would that be?
I think it would be Wolverine, the healing factor.
The healing.
Yeah, I would choose healing factor because I'm such a health freak. Like I'm so concerned with what I eat, what I do with my body. Like, you know, so for me, having a healing factor would kind of ease that, you know, stress that I have on me where I'm constantly like, oh, I got to watch what, you know, I got to make sure I'm, you know, have the right vitamins and this and that. But if I had a healing factor, it wouldn't fucking matter. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean?
But would it make you,
and I'll be like, hey, I'm back again. You know?
Would you be like lazy though? Would it make you just be like, yeah, give me more cheeseburgers?
Right, exactly. But I kind of want that because I'm so stressed out about.
But then you become the blob. Then you become the blob.
It won't keep you thin.
I need that in my life right now because I get so even with fucking water, man. I'm like, yo, is that alkaline water? Yo, because if it ain't alkaline water, I ain't drinking that shit. You know what I'm saying?
The smartest. I hate stupid water. Give me the smartest.
I don't like
water.
stupid water. I like smart water.
The smartest. The ones that went to college.
You know what I'm saying? If it got a PhD, I'm on it. You know what I'm saying?
More, I thought you wanted to get a healing factor because all the people coming after you from being on Pressable Defect show last night. You're gonna be attacked by the hand by the end of tomorrow. You don't know. After reading,
you know what it is? At this point, I'm already accustomed to that. Like I'm used to that shit. You know what I mean?
Isn't there like a group of like mean girls in one of those books that are called the Plastics? Like that would be the group that's after you, right? The Plastics. Like we love the Plastics.
It's walking slabs.
You know what I'm saying? Walking slabs. Coming at me. Like I'm more concerned with that than cancer. You know what I'm saying? I'm more afraid of slabbers than fucking cancer at this point. You know, but no, that's definitely it. That would be it, man. Healing factor.
That's a good pick.
That would be it, man. I always want to eat
tonight's book. Perfect for tonight's book. Hey, real quick, I want to say a quick hello to JP in the chat. What's up, JP? Let's see. Of course, we got Chet Knight. Chet, what's going on, brother?
I call him Chetty Knight. He don't like
Slayer.
He don't like that Chetty Knight.
I like that he calls you the Slab Slayer. I like the Slab Slayer nickname.
Slab Slayer, that's dope. Chetty, no, I like that. That's dope, man. I'm gonna use that, Chetty.
Let's see. It looks like Adam was talking about 201, the Avengers crossover, Magneto's retrial.
Yeah,
was really impressive. Also, I love that writing.
Great fucking book, man.
JP Good says reader. I need to be on a show where Storm kicks Cyclops ass.
I mean, that's a 201. We get back to back. We go Morb JP right there.
Bang bang.
We got Lady Fantastic in the chat. What is going on, Caroline?
Up?
Good to see you. Let's see. I want to make sure I got everybody. We got Damien hanging out with us as well.
I saw Damien down there.
Coming in the middle of the water IQ conversation. Yes, very important to have some smart water.
I'm just going to ask one more question. Quicker
please
one,
do.
Hopefully.
What's up?
It's my opinion, Morb. You disagree or not, whatever. That X-Men universe has the best female characters. I think they rock and dominate the female characters.
Yes. I'm going to tell you right now.
Well, wait. I want to know like your favorite, and I want to know who do you think is the hottest.
Ooh. Oof.
I'm gonna have to go. I kind of had a thing for Rogue.
Okay, all right.
I like Rogue. I know a lot of people, but that Jim Lee, the way he drew in the swimsuit issue.
I was gonna say not the Avengers 10 Rogue.
No. I'm talking about Jim Lee. Okay, when the way Jim Lee drew Rogue and Storm. Don't get me wrong. Storm is hot. Storm is fucking hot. You know what I mean? But it's something about Rogue, like the way he drew Rogue. It was like it just caught my eye, and I was like,
about it. I can't put my hands on it. I don't know.
I don't know what it is. Like I don't know what it is, but there's something about her that just draws your attention to. Okay. But I'll tell you right now, I'm not gonna lie, because my brother, the middle brother, he's an artist. He drew a lot. So he would, practicing, he would, draw Jim Lee stuff, and he would draw it so well. And he loved women. Everything he drew was women, which nothing wrong with that.
Nope.
Nothing wrong with that. But you could imagine me at 15, 14, watching him sketching, the everything that goes along with that. And I'm just like, wow, like I want to marry something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
someone who calls you sugar.
Hey, sugar. I need that in my life. But Storm and Rogue, I would say first Rogue and then Storm.
Gotcha.
I would say Rogue and Storm. Those are the hottest women for me right now. I
love it.
In the Marvel universe, man. You can't
powerhouses too.
Can't go powerhouses, man. You can't go wrong with them. You can't go wrong with those two beautiful women.
Nice.
For sure.
So that's a good question. We never asked that one before.
Yeah, no, I like it.
One for our guest.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
They gotta keep it going now.
Kirk says sugar. And as he comments says, it's mental with Rogue. The idea of look, but
right. You see that's the thing about it too, right? Like it's that forbidden fruit.
Yeah,
you can't touch her. And then you start thinking latex. You're like, you know what? Never thought of it. Let's give it a shot. You know what I mean? Let's see where it goes.
I get it now.
We go from smart water to latex. Where are we going with this?
Hey,
the best stuff.
It's Morbius, bro.
I love it. All right, let's get into the issue here. We got a couple issues to go on to, and I know you guys got your copies there. Let me bring up the slideshow here. So yeah, obviously these. Let's just start with the covers here for issue 3, issue 4, the final 2 issues of this 4-issue miniseries. John, what are your initial thoughts of these 2 particular covers?
I will say issues 1 and 2 covers are still my favorite of the 4. Issues 1 and 2 covers are so Wolverine jumping at you, Wolverine with the like, come here finger. I dig all of it. I like the bow and arrow one probably the least. I don't quite get it. I was like, whatever. I love the like black background sad Wolverine. Because for me, like the samurai story that we're getting here, the Western that we're getting here, the tragic hero at the center is Logan. And this captures it beautifully. Is it a cover that you'd be like, yeah, I want to buy that? Because it's not very exciting, but it's beautifully rendered. Like the color, the shading, the background, but just a pure black. And if you'd read issues 1 and 2, it fits perfectly into the story. So cover number 3 is just absolutely banger, even though it's not like action packed. 4 I like. It's probably my least favorite.
Yeah, that's fair. Morb, what about you? What are your thoughts on these 2 covers?
When it comes to 3, I'm there with John. Because you look at 3, there's so much emotion going on in here, and being that this series is basically based on his honor. You know what I mean? He's kind of like trying to regain his honor and his, and regain that, solidarity where he is respected for who he is, and when you see this cover, like you said, it's not something crazy. It's not next level, but the background, it's so simplistic that it kind of draws you in, because you're kind of wondering, why is Wolverine in such a somber position? Like this is somebody that in all the other issues before, prior to this one, like you said, he's coming at you. He's telling you, "Come here, baby. Like, get these fucking, blades." And here, it's the total opposite. Here, it's almost like he's, resentful, and he's kind of like, in a state where this ain't Wolverine. So I get it. I enjoy it. I do like it because it kind of draws you in the sense like, why is he like this?
Yeah.
What made him feel this way?
Right.
So it kind of draws you in.
Yep.
Number 4, definitely my least favorite. For one particular reason, him holding a weapon.
Yeah.
That always threw me off.
Right.
The fact that he's holding that, like you are a weapon. You know what I'm saying? Like weapon X, like you are the weapon. Like you don't need none of this shit. Like, so when I first saw it, I was just like, okay, cool, because I didn't know the character. But now looking back at it, it's almost like, okay, that just didn't make sense.
Right.
I don't get that, because he already has the weapons that he needs to accomplish his task.
Right.
So why would you grab a fucking crossbow like that? And then to show it as like that's his primary, tool to execute what it is he's gonna do in the comic book. So that kind of like threw me off. So definitely I'm with John. I don't like the last issue. That cover to me is a big turnoff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But issue 3, yes, I like it because the way it draws me in, but 1 and 2, of course, it's fucking pinnacle. But yeah, I could definitely do 3, but not 4. 4, I don't like.
I totally understand. Yeah,
it just seems weird. Like,
so the thing that I'll say about 4 is that it does tie into the book correctly in that it is applied that whole issue. He ends up admitting it, saying, "I need all the help I can get," because he's up against the Hand. He's not, going up against just some bum or whatever. He has to, he needs all the help he can get. So I think that for what it is and knowing what happens in the issue, the accuracy of the cover, now that I've read it, does make sense. I will say before I read it, looking at this issue, I definitely, it does, throw you off because it's like, well, you're a weapon in yourself. Why would you need to have any other, especially a crossbow out of like a, machine gun or anything else? But as you read this, and obviously now understanding where this takes place and the environment that he's in, and then on top of that, knowing that he's up against the Hand and he says like, I need to have as much weaponry as I can. Now to me, it kind of fits the puzzle piece a little bit more. I agree though, like it's probably the weakest out of the 4 for me, and that's not to put it down though, because I do love the cover.
No, it's beautiful.
The bright green behind it.
Right.
I love the theme of all 4 of them.
All 4 of them, right?
Have
that background, just a solid background with the artwork that's prominent to show you like, hey, this is what I want you to focus on.
Yeah, exactly. And they all look really nice, next to each other. I know you guys have them, that's my goal for this year. So, but yeah, and I'll tell you, I have always kept an eye on that issue number 3 of like trying to find a nice copy. And,
it's rough.
Trying to find one without a spine tick. It is tough to do with that solid black, unless you want to pay a fortune. A lot of, this is
any solid black cover. Especially a Silver Age or a Copper Age. A Bronze Age book. Yeah, it's rough. It's hard, man. You got to hunt. You got to hunt to go good.
Exactly. So quick hello to we just talked about him, Paul. Back-to-back issues in the chat. What's going on, Paul? We also had let's see. Daryl said, check out the Draw Mag I posted the other week for the Rubenstein inks on that cover. Just a beauty. I'll have to check that out. I think I saw it actually.
Yes, I saw that. Loved it. Yes, sir.
Let's see. He also says 4 has the signature Miller match lighting in the face. That's a good point. So that was the other thing that drew my attention was the lighting from his face, the shadows, the way they do all that. I think it's always well done. We also got Bobby in the chat. Station Bobby, good to see you. He says 3 is a powerful cover. I think we all know that feeling for sure. For sure. All right, let's get into these issues then. And again, appreciate everybody hanging. So right off the bat, we jump into Logan is kind of more or less in a lower mental state right now, and compared to where he was, kind of giving up on a lot, and he's doesn't really care. He's drinking a lot. He's at these illegal bar or these illegal fights that he's involved with. He's taken out the sumo wrestler that you can see here. I do love the back and forth of how, just picks up right where we left off, where, a lot of his my opponent has this, but so do I, or my opponent does this, but I do it better. Like all those types of comments. I love that we continue to get that. We also get the the plain backgrounds, to really focus on some of the characters, like the way he's flipping him in through the window there, which I love that too. So yeah, he just kind of paints the picture, because last issue he had really given a bad name or loss of honor or respect to Americo, and a lot of it had to do with Yukio. So we get that starting, and then after this whole fight scene happens, we get his what he explains is as close of a friend as he could be. Asano, which is someone that we had met in the previous issue, works for the Japanese Secret Service, says, "Hey, I got a job for you. I need your help." He says he's coming to you as a friend. Like, he wants him to help him essentially take out these crime lords that are running, basically the underground in Japan right now. And when he does, he puts his arm on his shoulder while trying to pull him one way, and Yukio is trying to pull Wolverine the other. And what does he say? He goes, as a friend, he goes, "Your hand, Asano, move it or lose it."
Move it or lose it, baby.
As we go into that next page, and just his eyes as a zoom in. So these are just some of the opening panels as we get to this, and I'm curious to hear your guys' thoughts. So, John, I'll start with you. What was your initial reaction to Logan's state of mind and kind of where he's at right now?
For me, it throws back to the original X-Men movie, where you get to see, like, the first time you meet Logan, he's like fighting in like a beer cage with like a bunch of knuckleheads. Like, this is Logan, like at his most animalistic, when he's just like, he just is a bare knuckle brawler kind of guy. And my favorite panel, though, is not one of him. It's the one of Yukio, where she's just smiling. Like, she's just like loving it. Yep. She's twisted the knife in this guy and made him go where she wants him to go. And she's just absolutely overjoyed with what she's created. And that's the creepiest freaking face, not because it's badly drawn, but because the sinister quality behind it. Like, you can see that she's just reveling in his pain. And I just dig it.
Yeah. Nicely said. More, what about you? What were your thoughts here?
Man, one of the things that, I enjoy about this whole series in general is the use of all the negative space. The way how it transitioned the movement when he's about to flip the sumo, you could actually see the transition of him actually, making that move. Yep. And then you could kind of picture it in your head where you see the fluid motion without actually seeing the fluid motion, because the way he paneled it, you could actually see it in your mind where he does the maneuver, flips him and throws him through the glass. And then I love how, see here, it's dead space, right? Nothing. Yeah. So it kind of draws your eye up, then it brings your eye down, then throughout the whole series, that's the way it is. It kind of, these negative boxes, these negative spaces kind of draw your eye up and then bring you down and then bring you up. So it's almost like an emotional roller coaster along with how you're reading it.
Yeah.
So it kind of draws you in the sense, but at the same time, it's an emotional thing, So totally. I really appreciate what Frank Miller did, the way he kind of gave you that empty space where you're just like, okay, I need to look up.
Right
now, I need to look down, so that's those little details, I think, speak volumes, with this series, and I think I really appreciate how he kind of gives you that fluid motion without giving you the fluid motion. Just in just a few panels, you pick up on it instantly on what he's trying to achieve.
Yeah, and that's something we had pointed out last time too, with just the way he does things, and yet it really draws your attention to each step of the way. And I had talked about it last time, reading digitally, like it really turned into this movie because you just saw the motion of the way things went down. So totally agree, and great point out with the blank spaces, the blank boxes, because we get a lot more of that in these last two, I feel like, than the first.
Yes, exactly.
So that stood out to me, and as a first experience for me, I haven't seen many other artists do that type of thing, at least from what I've read so far. So obviously Miller, kind of putting a stamp on this as recognizing that this is his. A few other people I want to say a quick hello to in the chat. We got Brother Joe in the house, Station Brother Joe. We also got William Bird, who says, wow, 40 years these have been out. Just now realized that there's no mask on either cover. Very
Not
true.
only that, on any of them.
On any of
them.
This is the first time Wolverine gets his solo series.
He's much more Logan.
And it's clearly, the comment is we're focusing on what's on the inside and not on the superhero. This is not, ultimately they could have just called it Logan and made it more true to who the story is about.
Totally.
But yeah, great call, William. Totally.
Yeah. Conlon says the glass panel is beautiful. Yeah, him shattered through the window
awesome.
there, flying through. Meanwhile, in the background, you see Asano smoking a cigarette, leaning on the car there.
Well, you could picture that in the movie, right? You could
totally
clearly see that shit, right?
Like Asano's like, you done? You know, like, are you done? Let's see. Paul says the greatest miniseries of all time, throwing up the GOAT there. Yeah, man. I have to agree. I mean, I obviously still have a lot of miniseries to read to claim that, but from what I've read, this is definitely the one that stands out to me the most, and obviously being one of the key, characters that I love. So, yeah, definitely agree with that. Let's see. And the other thing too, Adam says, which is why all the bars in Manhattan have to have superhero insurance. That's a good point. Yeah, and living in New York City with the Avenger, between the Avengers and X-Men and everything else, like
and FF, like
there's a lot of shattered glass for sure that goes around. Brother Joe, question: is negative space dead space? I think with the way Morbius described it, it's used. It's used
right.
And it's subtle. So
I
wouldn't call it dead space.
It would depend on the artist, right?
Right.
Like a talented artist does something intentionally, and
has
a purpose and a function to it. So it's not dead; it's serving a function. A weaker artist would make a mistake and just not have any intention
or do it for random reason. Yeah,
right. When he lost,
look at the negative space even on the cover.
Right.
Look how the black in the shadows of his knees and legs disappears into the background behind it. Like
amazing,
that's negative space, right?
Dude, the inking from Joseph, like, it's amazing on here. Totally. He did an amazing job inking this fucking series.
Yeah, by the way, I didn't realize that Joe was on this. Obviously, a lot of it is, I think, just I hear, you hear the two big names, Claremont Miller, and obviously Rubenstein's a huge name. He just, to me, he was shadowed in just even in glancing at this. I don't hear his name when people talk about the series. They don't mention him.
I would say that happens with people that work with Frank Miller a lot. Because you look at somebody like Klaus Janson, and I know that MORB has talked about Klaus a bunch, and you look at what he did. A lot of times they go beyond just inking, and in this case, they don't call Joseph Rubinstein the inker; they call him the finisher.
I saw that. I thought of the Punisher when I read that.
In the days of Daredevil, finish him. In the days of Daredevil, Klaus would basically get really raw drawings from Frank because he was doing 2 Daredevils a month, and he was writing. And he was drawing both of them.
Right.
Like, can you imagine somebody today trying to write and draw 2 issues a month?
That's crazy.
It's bonkers. So Klaus doesn't get the love of the amount of work he probably put in actually drawing and finishing these issues. Yep. When I saw him at Baltimore, I went straight to him with Daredevil books. I was like, dude, these are amazing. Shout out to what you did, because I don't think he gets the love, much like Joseph Rubinstein here.
Yep. No,
definitely.
Quick hello to Dan Delator in the house. What's going on, Dan? Good to see you, my friend. All right, let's keep this going here because we got a lot. We get the splash page here. The title is called Loss. Obviously fits very well with the cover of what we've seen. A lot of heartfelt stuff going on in here. But man, the hand, they could kill at any time right now with the angle that they have hanging from the rooftops up here. Like, that's such a wild splash page that I'm gonna have to post once I get my hands on an issue 3, because that's a perfect splash page there. So we have them. They're essentially gonna kill him, but then they're like, no, this is not the right time, not the right place. Let's wait on that. Meanwhile, they're basically on a date. Yukio, Wolverine, they're kind of they're flirting. They're running on over to they're drinking, partying, and they run over to train tracks. You can see on that far left panel, they're like kind of just what do you call that? Like just kind of risk. Chicken, yes. They're just like risking themselves, and last minute, with the train flying by, they roll over, barely dodge this thing. I want to point out that I love that immediately he's like, are you crazy? Like he basically yells at her, like you like we almost just died. And she's like trying to like explain, like, yeah, but we're gonna die one day, and it's just when we do die, it's gonna be beautiful and yada yada yada. And then she turns around and he's literally snoring, sleeping in that bottom right hand corner.
He basically was like, yeah, shut up, get fucked.
I just like his heart, he even says like my heart jumped, like so I picture him being like wide awake for like just a second.
But
then after that he's like
fuck this shit.
Yeah, I'm down.
You know what I'm saying? And guys, all you young guys, these are the kind of women to stay away from, bro. Any woman that wants to fucking have you on a train track and wants to play chicken with a fucking train, stay the fuck away from her, bro.
This is the woman that's like going into the bar and be like, did you see what he just said about me?
Exactly. Are you gonna let him tell me that shit? Are you gonna let him talk to me?
She's gonna be starting shit and then like she's gonna be working everybody up. No.
Exactly.
This is
you
great.
saw her in that first panel smiling while he's getting he's fighting some guy, and she's like she's taking him out on the train track trying to leave him get run over.
That's drama, son. Stay away from the drama.
Let me get my pen and let me write this wisdom down real quick. Can you say it over to
solve this problem?
Actually, I'll rewind later.
Rewind.
Your lady's winning thousands of dollars taking care of you in Atlantic City, so you've done right.
You're doing good, Justin. You're doing good.
Dan says, "Thank God I'm old and married."
I say that every day, Dan. I say it every day.
Shout out to Dan.
Quick hello to my man Albert in the chat. Good to see you, Albert.
Hey.
Albert, I was so pumped to see you jump on Morb's show earlier, and Mark was there because Mark won from my show one of Albert's amazing art pieces, and he grabbed it. He's like he
didn't even know that was Albert,
dude. The minute he saw Albert and realized what it was, he was
like the name. He heard the name and was like, hold on a second.
He grabbed one of Albert's amazing pieces and he held it. I was like, dude, you made this? He's like, this is freaking amazing. I bid so much money on this for cancer charity, and like this is so awesome to be here with you. That moment
was dope, right?
Spectacular.
That was fucking dope.
I have to see that. Awesome. Yeah, that
was dope, man. To bring those two brothers together, that was
so
awesome.
Cool. So
that was
cool.
awesome.
Cool. Oh, we also got Alonzo in the chat.
Alonzo,
heard. Good to see you, Alonzo. All right, so I'm gonna jump to this next one that I'll pass to you guys. But so we have the dream here, or nightmare, really.
Nightmare.
As we shift gears, we get a whole new. It even enters you in here as I sleep, I dream, and he's dreaming about this warrior. And again, this is just taking place right after as he fell asleep. He pictures himself as this warrior going to save the woman that he loves and show the honor and everything else, and basically goes through hell to do so, takes all these arrows and is dying. And even when he crawls his way to his girl, he is there. And this is the nightmare part of her even rejecting him for the dishonor and this disloyalty that he knows he feels that he's given her, that we've read in the past two issues. And it's just like a nightmare version of like everything that's happened. I'm really curious to hear your guys' thoughts on like how Miller changes up the page colors, the atmosphere, and takes you through this kind of darker. Again, they call it a dream in the beginning, but it really is a nightmare. Morb, I'll start with you. What were your thoughts with this?
For me, the panel or the image that stood out for me is where he's there with all the arrows in his body. Like to me, that screams so much emotion, and pain, and the fact that he felt like you look at that look on his face, that the way Frank drew that, it showed the disdain with himself.
Yeah.
Like how much he was so like disgusted with himself for losing that loyalty, that honor, you know what I mean? For the woman he loved and the way that they, perceive him now, that tore him up to the point where all these fucking arrows like didn't mean shit. Like that did not stop him. That didn't stop him, because what drove him was the validation, to be accepted and honorable, but yet he lacked it, and I think that with that, panel here where she's looking at him and she's just like, you know what? Like, I don't like, it don't matter at this moment right now, because you're at a point where I can no longer like, we cannot see each other. Like I cannot be with you. Like I cannot accept you for who you are because you lack any type of loyalty to even be on my level.
Yeah.
Like, and that pain of somebody you love and somebody you look up to and somebody you cherish to tell you, you know, you're not on my level, you're not even close to me, like I can't even look at you. Like the pain of that is immense.
Yeah.
You know, as a man to the woman you love and the woman you not only love but respect, you know, which is key. You know, the loyalty that he had, you know, to be so diminished in that moment, you know, crushed him. You know, and just that look of him with the arrows and the fucking dark eyes, like, is so painful.
Yeah.
You know, and you actually could feel his pain. Like, you know, you really embrace it and you're like, damn, like this shit sucks.
Yep.
Like this really sucks right now. You know, and you want to root for him. Like you want him to come out of that, you know, and you know that he's not.
Yep.
At this moment.
Yep.
He's not.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that that's like sad. It really, like when I read it, it made me sad.
Totally.
You know, in that sense where it's like, man, like, because when it comes to a man and a woman, like the man really feels that pain, you know, of being discarded, of being like felt like you're trash, like you're nothing, you're dismissed, you know. And I think that that's so hurtful.
Yeah.
For anybody, I guess.
Yeah.
For anybody.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, this again, going back to the feeling of the cover, like the sadness that we get,
the pain that he was feeling, and that's what we're looking at right here. Thank you, Justin, for saying that, because this is where that cover comes from right here.
Yeah.
You know, this is the personification of that cover.
Yep.
So I definitely feel that way. And this image here, to me, when I read this and I saw it, it was just so like traumatizing in the sense that it was like, fuck, like this really sucks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To be in this position. Yeah. It really sucks, man. You know, so to see that and his, you know, willingness to want to, you know, change it and want to be what she wants him to be and not being able to accomplish that or be at that level, like that's crazy, man. Like that's
I'm done. Like Morbius got this whole page. Like I don't need to talk about any of that. Every single freaking layer.
That's true.
This is why Morbius is amazing. That every single piece of these 2 pages, you got. It's beautiful, and it's ultimately it's that last bit we had of issue 2 where she looks at him, and she sees him as the monster, and now he is just unable to get past it because he knows how much he let her down. That's the arrow she's about to shoot. Is that look she freaking gave him in issue 2? She's gonna shoot that arrow shot through the heart.
It's
right
haunting.
Like, she's
literally
haunting him with that arrow of just her look. You know that look a woman can give you. Your mom gave it to you when you were a kid. Your wife can give it to you when you grow up. You hope your kid never gives it to you. So like. It's the Slayer look.
Yeah.
True. Definitely. So shout out MORB. You nailed this, bro.
Well said. We got Kevin in the chat. What is up? Entropy in Comics.
Chet said Justin's about to lose his sponsors. Yeah, you know my cursing.
Oh, that was out the door. That was out the door right when we put Morb's name.
As soon as you brought me into the show, it was done.
My subs have gone down. My thumbs down has gone up.
You lost a bunch of viewers. Subscribers are gone.
I'm getting death threats in my personal DMs right now. Like, you know, all sorts of crazy stuff.
Never want to see Morb again.
Alonzo says the Slayer look. Love it. Yes,
I want to mention too, Gore. Gore mentioned Akira Kurosawa. Great. Japanese samurai filmmaker. Of course, you have like Jet Li and like movies like Hero as well. But like ultimately, that concept of the samurai lone warrior honor discussion definitely playing out in these 2 pages. Honestly, this feels like friggin' Jet Li Hero kind of stuff. Like it's just amazing.
Exactly.
So yeah, Gore, totally right.
Yeah, nice. Definitely. This is like some Last Ronin type shit, man.
I'm jumping this next one here because we got a lot actually happening, but a little bit of a mix-up. So as he's still in Dreamland, Yukio, as she's still
awake, drunk. You could just say drunk.
He did say he's happy being drunk.
Drunk off his butt. Apparently, he's just drunk enough not to get run over by a bullet train, but that's
exactly.
it.
His instincts were able to dodge it. But they get visited by the Hand, and it is not good. They're basically trying to give Yukio one last chance to do the job that she was paid to do, which is kill Wolverine, was half the job, right? First half, helping get the assassination of the other crime lord in the last issue, and then after that, she was supposed to kill Wolverine, and she could not do it, and instead kind of falls for him, as they've been going on these dates and spending time together and enjoying each other's company. So yeah, they're like threatening her, and they're like, do it right now, kill him. And she's like she's like, well, look, guys, he's mutant, he can heal himself, just so you know. And they're like, all right, then cut his heart out. And they did not care. They're like, you do whatever it takes to kill this guy, and you do it, or it's you that we're gonna kill. And it's based on the their boss, who happens to also be Mariko's father. So right as she's about to pretend to kill him, she of course takes them out instead, and she loves it. She's like 5 against 1, just she says the type of odds that I like to have.
She's
a
and she does adrenaline junkie.
Oh,
yeah, she dangerous, bro.
Yeah, just seeing the way she like hits the 2 from the back there, like they both drop. She ends up taking all 5 out, and tries to wake Wolverine up, and of course, the one thing you never do is murmur another woman's name to the girl that you're dating while she's trying to wake you up.
Certainly
and
not an adrenaline junkie like you.
No. And he says Mariko, and she is like, she literally kicks him in the face after he says the wrong name. Like that is some crazy, like, woo. So she runs off. She goes back to her apartment. She is so furious and angry and sad because she just realizes that Mariko has his heart and he has Yukio's. Like it's just like not, it's like in movies where it just doesn't work out. The person you like doesn't look at you that way, and someone else likes you, but you're not interested. Like it falls right in line with that. And then meanwhile, at the place, she sees someone sneaking in. At first she thinks it could be Wolverine. No, he wouldn't be up yet. Then she thinks it's the Hand. She ends up killing whoever it is that walks in. Unfortunately, it turns out to be the Secret Service friend Asano, right, from earlier in the issue that Wolverine was talking with. And obviously, this is quite devastating, as we will get more further into this. And I am going to just flip the page because this kind of jumps right into the action part of this. Awesome. So, and John, I'm gonna pass it to you as we go through this. Again, Wolverine comes stumbling back. He tries to figure out what happened, why Yukio, he sees Yukio left these dead bodies around. The Hand is like destroyed. He comes in and sees his friend. He can tell already that there's a dead body in there. He looks close, sees who it is. He sees that there's one of her her daggers or her knives that took him out. So he knows it's Yukio, and he starts to put all the pieces together. He realizes, what she's been up to, and how he smells and I mentioned this in the last episode. He smells the poison that was on the end of that knife and or that blade, and points that out, and realizes this is where all the puzzle pieces came together, that she's been working for Mariko's father. She was sent there to get him in the first place. That's how he wound up there when he blacked out with those darts that were thrown at him, the stars. And so he's just furious. He goes out into a rage, chasing her while she was still there, even, which I love the back and forth that they had there. And then we get this epic chase scene. You get the beautiful panels here, the different coloring that you'll see over on the far side here, as the backgrounds change as they're chasing each other through the night, and then lands themselves, as you can see, as they're about to go at it. So before I go any further into even more action, I do want to pass it to you guys. So John, what are your thoughts here with some of the stuff that I just mentioned?
I mean, Yukio is like a human bullet train. All she can do is like go a million miles a minute, make drama, and just break shit. Like that's all she's got. And that's what she's doing. Look at her. She's just like crashing through glass, killing your best friend, leaving you on the train tracks. And she's surprised when her drama queen attitude makes drama. That's the karma of this whole sequence, is like you're surprised that you got drama when all you wanted and all you searched for was drama. Guess what? You found it. Like that's how life works. If you search for the thing, you'll find the thing. So like it's that to me is the hilarious part of her. She's so self-unaware that she is absolutely wrapped up in her whole thing here. She wants Logan, unwilling to actually realize what it takes to get the kind of man she wants Logan to be, right? Mm-hmm. Unwilling to travel that route. Instead, she's just an absolute bullet train of a character, and it's exciting to watch because it's not your life, it's her life, it's Logan's life.
Yeah,
as she crashes through the glass, kills these guys, it's wild. I just feel like I love the comparison of Yukio to Mariko and how different they are. How at their core these ladies are so totally opposite, and Wolverine can be attracted to both, but at the same time recognize what is a long-term versus a short-term thing, right?
Exactly. I think it's definitely awesome, man. Like even with that, after he's smelling the blade, and there's a lot of contemplation there. There's a lot of turmoil in the sense that he's now realizing who she really is, and then to like now kind of like put those feelings on the back burner and now address her for what she is. Is now where we at, because before that he was, he didn't see her the way she was. So then when he, she killed his best, an agent that was close to him, and now he's like, wait a minute, this is not kind of like what, I anticipated, in that sense where he was like, fuck, I have these feelings, but now I have to put those feelings on the back burner, and I have to address the fact that now who I'm dealing with really, so you're dealing with, it's like a multiple, personality type shit where you think you're dealing with one person and then you find out you're dealing with another person. So and this panel right here where he's jumping through the window, like to me, that's fucking
I love that.
Like, beautiful.
So
like I found, and once again, the use of the negative space. Once again, it draws your eye up and then draws your eye back down. So it's that constant, the use of that negative space intelligently, like John said, he used it with a purpose.
Well, you even look at that like orange and yellow one in the upper corner where Logan is all in red, like or orange or whatever. Like Logan is a complete negative space. There's no detail given to him at all. And her costume becomes negative space, right? There's no detail, no line work in any of her. I love how it is almost like she is a shadow, the way she's it's so intentional.
I love it.
So I'm going to get into these fight scenes here because this is where I'm seeing the hand go at it the way that they do. The way they surround him, and especially next to you, John. That panel there, seeing clearly like he's in trouble. Like, how do you get out of something like this? And this is the hand, right? I mean, if you know anything about the hand, if you read anything with Daredevil in the past, like the they are. No, they're literally seriously. They are the best of the best at what they do. They're dangerous, and to see all of them there the way they are, and then still, put on, be able to put up a fight the way that Wolverine does. I like here that we note Wolverine catches right before the fight really begins. He catches her reaction when the hand shows up, and he recognizes that. Well, at first he's thinking like, they're there they're going to join her and basically
set him up. Him up.
But now he realizes that she has this look on her face where she's actually more scared for him, if anything, and it makes him kind of double think of like where she stands right now, with everything going on. So of course we get a ton of wicked battle scenes here. I try to throw a couple up here. Nice, you guys own the books, definitely check them out. It's absolutely beautiful artwork. And then the splash page that we get, because things they finish right at the end, ends up taking care of all the ones that they do. There's a lot of talk though. The what he realizes now that he has to do is go after Mariko's father. I keep forgetting his name. Shingen. And so he basically comes to the realization like this is the next thing he has to do now at this point. It obviously is perfect going right into this next issue. This is how this issue ends. It's this large page of Logan's face. The artwork there is absolutely beautiful. He's looking up into the sky. So as we close this first issue out, Morb, what did you think of these fight scenes, and what did you think of Wolverine and where he's left off here?
Dude, the fight scene number one with the hand, I love it. So there's no dialogue, right? Barely any dialogue. And that's what I love about it, because you're able to focus on the fighting, the dynamics of how he handled these guys. Like that second panel down where he actually tripped one of the hands with the actual cable that they were using to try to trap him in. Like little details like that show the skillfulness of Wolverine, where he was able to you know, anticipate certain moves where he's using your own tool against you.
Yeah.
You know, to tie you up. And I thought that was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
You know, and that splash, that panel with his face, you know, Rubinstein, once again, the inking on this.
So
you
good.
know, we don't give too much credit to the inking,
Yeah.
but this is inking right here. This is
Yeah.
a lot of ink work right here.
Masterful.
I mean, it is so, when you hear other artists, and that's what I've heard other artists talk about this, they're like, you know, flabbergasted,
Yeah.
you know, on the detail work of Rubinstein on this, you know.
Yeah.
So I think we need to definitely give a lot of credit to him on this series in general.
Yeah.
You know, because he really stood out. And I think at this point, Wolverine is like, he got to a precipice. At this point, he's almost like, okay, this is where I stand. This is what's going on. This is my realization of what's happening right now, of who I'm, of all the players. He's realizing now what he's involved in now. He realized all the players and what these players are doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, so it's almost like he got to the end game. He realized the end game now. He's realizing everything that's going on, and now he's analyzing, and at the same time, he's reflecting. When you look at, you know, where he landed in, when they broke through and they were like, hey, listen, this where we landed in, this is supposed to be very how can I say, it's a very the word is eluding me right now, but it's a very calm when you deal with the sand and you're dealing with the, you know, where, you know, it's such a contrast to what you see happening. You know, he landed in this blissful environment where it's supposed to be serenity, where you get in tune with yourself, where you're at peace and there's nothing going on. There ain't no peace here.
Right.
You know, you're getting the total opposite, but yet again, he's reflecting on it and realizing the peace that is lacking in him, you know.
It's that level of consciousness, right?
Yes.
That awareness.
That awareness, right? He's realizing it now, like, you know what? This is bigger.
Yep.
You know, and he's starting to get a grasp on that.
Totally.
And I think that ties into his loyalty. It ties into his ability to retain that loyalty. I think this right here is a big part right here.
Yeah.
You know, where he realizes that, you know,
it's the turning moment, that takes him into the final battle.
Exactly. So now he's conscious, you know, it's almost like he became aware, you know, of his faults, of where he's at, and now he's determined to change that.
Taking some ownership.
Right.
The tranquility.
Ownership.
Tranquil. Yeah.
Exactly. So that's how I feel about this, man.
Well
I
said.
thought this ending was amazing.
Yeah.
You know, it really left you, you know, wondering, you know, how much Wolverine, like how much determination he's gonna take into the next issue.
Yeah.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Like that's how I saw it, you know.
Yeah, Conlon pointed out too the writing on these last few pages.
Yeah,
here
after the silent fight
spot
sequence, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just knowing that he's struggling with, you know, he feels he knows he's failed both women in a sense, and he appreciates what both women bring out of him, and how he sees how how he kind of fits with both, you know, Mariko being more of the one to calm him in an opposite way of how he's always been, and Yukio being very similar to him in a lot of ways. So that's a good point too. Just like the verbiage at the end here, as we close it out. And Chet says, I appreciate Rubinstein's panel more than the portrait. Yeah,
exactly.
Well said. John, what are your thoughts?
That's the word, tranquility.
Tranquility. Yeah.
Tranquility.
Magic Lasso has a great joke I didn't want to leave. It says, the last time I was someone's type, I was giving blood. Nailed it. That might be the funniest thing you've ever said in our chat. I just want to shout you out, Ryan, for that. I know that there's a lot of good jokes happening, but that one's great.
I don't know. I think he had a pretty good hand joke. I just didn't.
He did. I wasn't going to highlight that one because it sounds comics with kids, so I was going to lay out.
I'm glad I wasn't taking a sip there.
I also wanted to highlight the fact this issue right here proves why Daredevil and Wolverine are better reads than Star Wars, because Stormtroopers can't hit shit, but the hand are hitting everything. Look, they're hitting hitting his arm, they're hitting his chest, they're hitting everything. Stormtroopers can't hit a barn door.
Shots fired
They would
to the Star Wars
out of
fans.
a boat and not hit water. The stormtroopers, but these hand troopers can hit anything. I'm just gonna say, Star Wars.
I can't help but agree.
I'm saying I don't hate Star Wars, but I'll hate on it a little bit.
Just not Mandalorian.
No, I'm just saying, you know, just keep a little bit of truth. A little bit of truth. Yeah, I mean, this is a powerful ending.
Yeah,
and on book club each month, my buddy Whitewell Comics and I look back at the books we enjoyed for the month, and we often crap on books that end the same way, because comics these days often end with the villain reveal on the final page. And we joke routinely about how that's such a wasted use of story, and that the stronger books end with emotion and ideas. And that's what this one does. This book doesn't end with a shocking reveal of a new villain. Instead, it ends with a revelation for our hero, and that's just as powerful. That's just as exciting. I want to read issue 4 just as much as a shitty villain reveal, because I want to know what's Logan gonna do now. Our guy just slayed a ton of the hand and came to a deep revelation about himself. What's he gonna do in the next issue? Like that's way more powerful from a reader standpoint than just like, hey, check out the cool new villain we invented. You see his full appearance next week.
Yep.
No,
it's true. That's very true. Yeah, the same thing over and over.
Exactly.
Gore said, while Logan is reevaluating who he is, Storm is doing the same after her encounter with the Morlocks. Great point. He says, as is Rogue.
That's right.
I like what Chris Claremont was doing at the time with these characters. That's a really great point. They're all falling in the same time period.
Exactly.
Things that we've broken down. Storm. We just had this, type of discussion about Storm too. So, and Chet says Star Wars. No talk about Star Wars when we're talking about Wolverine here. To be fair, he's throwing jabs at Star Wars. So he's not praising Star Wars. JP, I don't want to hear it, man. I don't want to hear it. All right, you put me and Morb on a show together.
Let's put it this way:
let's see you do one.
You finish one issue at the hour mark, is what I'm gonna say.
That's a win. That's a win.
Hey, man.
Yeah, we're on point here. We're on point. All right, before we get into the next and final issue, I just want to remind everybody
to
stick
we
around
can't start the next issue. Jesus,
I forgot to mention in the beginning. Yeah, no, I always just want to mention that we got our questions going, so we're gonna have those ready. They're gonna be based on the first 2 issues, and I want to give a shout out to our featured artist of the season, Tim Stacey, who is going to be working on an art commission piece for us that we're going to be giving away here at the end of the season, which will fall right around the end of June. So make sure you guys have your answers ready for the questions that we have. And if you don't know the answers, you can always throw in the funny ones. You guys know how this works. So
make fun of slab collectors. You're going to get a point.
And you'll get a point. Yeah. Just make Morbius laugh. But I just want to throw that out there. If you guys don't follow Tim Stacey, please do so. I put his information in the description below. He's a great guy, great artist. I look forward to seeing what he comes up with for the show. All right, let's get into this next one here.
Let's go.
All right, so right off the bat, this to me was like, what would I describe? I mean, just knowing like he is taking out all the mob bosses. He is going after everyone, killing or giving his warning sign to everyone, whether they try to fight him or they run away. Wolverine is going and taking out of all of Shinjin's men. All of his underground, crime lords and everything else. And he's giving a message to each and every one, to let him know that he's coming after him. And I love this scene here where he takes a dash at these two, slices the money, and like all you see is like him run by the two of them, and the money comes leaking out or whatever. You get this really cool splash page of how he kind of sneaks up on them. He's in the bushes. You get a classic, Snicket kind of look or view. Also interesting the way the layout of these panels are. You can see it. He did a little bit of that in the one prior to that too. But yeah, curious. More. What did you think of just this opening scene? You could tell he's out for revenge.
I love it. Love it, man. It's like you said, he's sending a message. It's that old school movie type, hero where he's now found himself. Yeah. And now he's like, you know what? I'm going to let y'all know I'm coming for y'all. And I want to make sure it's me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm coming for you. And the fact that where he was like, where he told the guy, Bud, don't even try it. Like he was like, don't even think about it. Then he was like, okay, he listened.
Yeah.
Because he didn't pull the gun out. You know what I mean? Like
it could have been ugly.
Right. He's smart. He's smart. He gets it. You know, and that cocky fucking, like, I love it. You know what I mean? Like, it made me feel so warm inside seeing Wolverine now taking charge, like coming back and like feeling like, you know, rejuvenated and understanding his purpose. You know, I think that's what kind of like gave me the message was, this is my purpose. I understand my purpose. I know why I'm here now.
Yeah.
You know, he figured it out, you know, in that sense where he got that confidence where he's like, you know what? I know what I'm doing and this is what I'm going to do. And I'm going to achieve it regardless of what the outcome is, because at the end of the day, it all goes back to his honor. You know, and that's what I love about it, you know, and the fact that, you know, he did it that old school style. He came in, cut them up, you know, let them know, like, hey, bro, like, you want it, you're gonna get it.
Right. He didn't kill him. He didn't have to kill him. He just
he didn't have to kill him. He was just like, hey, listen, what I did was enough to let you know and get the message across. And you know what's coming. You know, so I thought that was awesome. You know, just seeing him act that way, it was like it brought you back to that Wolverine, you know.
Oh yeah.
Like that's Wolverine, right?
Classic.
You know, the classic Wolverine. You know?
It feels like Arnold Schwarzenegger or Sylvester Stallone or Carl Weathers, just like deciding like I'm gonna Action Jackson you, and you're gonna deal with it.
You're gonna deal with that shit.
I love JP says they done effed up and killed John Wick's dog. Like
exactly. That's exactly what
exactly it. It's so good. He also says you're only on time because John barely talked.
Yeah.
You get, I mean, honestly, MORB, Justin, and I, it's a triple threat. You got to watch it. You got to dig deep. But no, look at this freaking panel here, folks. Holy buckets! Like this is amazing. Again, the shadows, the colors, absolutely nailing these panels. So good. That's all I need to say.
Agreed.
All right, I'm going into this next bit here because we now almost all of last issue we actually didn't get Shingen. I think that just his name being mentioned, but this is him back now. Miracle's father. For those of you who haven't been following,
he's just a crash test dummy. We know he's going down, so we don't need much of him. We know he's going to get sliced and diced. We're just waiting.
Well, and this is where it's interesting because, like, we did get to see action between the two of them last time, and I know a little bit of that is mentioned here, you know, and he says, like, you know, don't worry, I took him down once before, I can do it again type thing, but, you know, obviously we know there was some cheating going on in that last fight. So for this one here, so for this one here, you know, talking about a little bit with his men are like getting nervous for him. They're like, hey, look, man, this Wolverine guy is coming for you. And he's doing it in a way that's making you look bad. He's making you look disrespected. And a lot of people are going to lose their trust in you as a leader, you know, if you don't do something about it. So he's like, all right, well, he essentially calls on his most dangerous ninjas, as he mentions here in these panels. The thing that bothers me with this, and not bothers me in the sense of, I mean, the art and everything is great and the story's great, but about the character is the way he uses the idea of honor to his advantage, and the way he, like, you know, tell all these, you know, these warriors that they can come, show tonight, you know, prove themselves tonight. But meanwhile, it's for his own gains. It's for his own personal reasons as to why he's even inviting them to try to take the Wolverine down. And so, you know, that was, I know we got that from the very beginning. So we just knew that this guy was not a good guy. He's using, you know, the code and the honor in a way, he's manipulating it in a way that only works for him. And so, yeah, that was just something that really stood out to me. You know, then he gets this little note, says tonight, they got the ninja, the black costume inside the box, and he crumples it up before, you know, he realizes, you know, what's going on. So curious again. So John, I'll pass it to you. What were your thoughts on some of this stuff? This is where, by the way, and I forgot, on this last page here, is where he takes out everyone that was sent to him, Wolverine, and this is where he gets that weapon amongst all these other weapons that they show at the very top there, and he explains a little bit more as to, you know, look, I need all the weapons I can get if I'm going up against the Hand and everything else that's going on, and, you know, it explains a little more with, you know, the cover as we mentioned earlier. So but I love the storytelling because you don't even get to see how he does it. you just leave to your imagination that he does it, and then you have all these weapons laying out, and to think that there were men that were holding these weapons at one point, and they're no longer with us.
They're no longer with us.
Yeah. So, John, what did you think of that? Seeing those weapons there?
I think it's hilarious. So, I mean, obviously, like, we've admitted along the way here how Claremont is at his best when he's got an artist that he can trust to take it to the next level, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because otherwise he does wall-to-wall writing and you're just going to be reading shit for the rest of your life. It's a chapter book at that point. This is like his exposition bit because you know he's trusting Miller to take on those action sequences that are going to be coming a little bit later. My favorite bit though is that he sent a fucking note. Wolverine's like,
I know
you're gonna die. Check yes. Check the box for yes. Like that's basically
Check box for no.
It's like I'm gonna stab you later. Check this box right here. It's like
if you like to be stabbed, check yes. If you like,
it cracks me up. Like I'm gonna send this guy a note. I'm coming for you. I've killed all your underlings. Keep sending me more ninjas. I'm warming up. I need to stretch and I need to limber up because I'm coming for you. Like I love all of it. I love all of it.
Yeah.
I forgot to mention Chet threw out some crazy comment in the chat where he says you could cook a pernil during Justin's episodes. And Candace is like, what the heck are you talking about, Chet? I thought you misspelled something.
And it's not pernil.
She's making fun of.
Okay,
she's making
John. It's not pernil.
Pronounce it for me.
It's Benny.
Wow, there's a lot of letters not being sounded
Benny is Benny. It's roast pork. Roast pork. Benny.
But that's hilarious because Chet misspells things so much in our chat. That
Candace was like, "Yo, you misspelling shit."
She's like, "What the hell's happening to this guy tonight?"
Like, you talking English, motherfucker? Like, what are you talking?
And then he had to explain it. He's like, it's roast pork Puerto Rican style. And then she's like, "Oh, I thought you misspelled something."
So I saw this comment and I thought he was talking about like Wolverine cooking up some ninja. Or something. Like I didn't know what he was.
It's them talking about how the fact that
you didn't know, Justin. The hand came from Puerto Rico. Like you didn't know.
I just love that
the hand is rich.
She just assumed that he misspelled it. She just assumed it. I love that Chet's this far along down the rabbit hole that she's just assuming that he misspells shit.
Yeah,
that's where she's at.
We really is a real swing and a miss here.
Ella no sabe. Yo no sabe también, señor.
Yo no sabe nada.
Yo no sabe también.
Yo no sé nada,
los
man.
Dos. Nosotros no saben.
I got my green card. That's all I don't know.
Let me go next page.
But now I know I need to have some more. I need to go to
real
a Puerto Rican restaurant.
Real quick, before we go to the next page, I just wanted to say the weapons. You know, I get it. I understand it. And I know that we touched on it before the show. But to me, it was like, that's one of the things that like threw me off for like a second, you know, because like when I read it, well, I gotta be transparent in the sense that when I read it, I already the Wolverine origin story was already out. You know, you had more background on Wolverine when I read this originally. So I gotta put that into context, you know, with somebody who read this for the first time, you know, in 82 and they're reading this and there was really no backstory to Wolverine at that time, like as far as like true origin story. Yeah. You know, so I get this, but for somebody who read it after the fact, I didn't get it in the sense that I always felt like, you know, Wolverine is a fucking weapon. He's a weapon. He doesn't need it. Yeah. He doesn't need weapons. So to me, reading it after the fact, it was like, I didn't get it. You know, but I have to step back and read it for somebody who didn't have that
from the context of when it came out,
right? For the context of when it
was made, when it was
right. Made. So looking at it back now and kind of like displacing myself from that, like it is cool in that sense where he's like, "Hey, I need everything I need to succeed in this mission." Yeah. I get that. You know what I mean? Now looking back in retrospect, it's like I get it, but at the time when I read it, it was like, I don't get it because you are the weapon. You don't need none of this, you know. But that's just my take before we jump to the next one. I just want
to And then, this too to comment. The vibe of him like getting these weapons and stuff. It made me think of Punisher more so than anything else because he's obviously he uses that's his weapon. He uses weapons. Like, that's how that works.
Right.
So the mentality you could almost like Like I haven't read much with like I don't know if I assume maybe there is something out there with the two of them that cross paths where they work together, but that's gonna be a crazy book, whatever that is. The two of them
there's some great like Punisher War Journal. There's two great Punisher War Journals.
Yo, that Punisher War Journal with Jim Lee.
See, where he's like holding Punisher's costume in the claws.
Oh
my God. Or when he's cutting Punisher's machine gun in half.
Justin, you gotta pick that.
I have to read those.
You gotta pick it. Punisher War Journal, bro.
Honestly, I actually have two of them.
The first like 20 issues of War Journal are freaking amazing.
Amazing, Brad.
So good. It's the best. For me, it's the best Punisher. Period.
Yeah.
I love it. And then Jim Lee does like half of it. It's fucking amazing.
Fucking amazing, spectacular, man.
Love it.
Let me see if I got.
I'm a big War Journal fan when it comes to Punisher.
Yes, I am.
More than any other run.
Yes,
the original.
War Journal is amazing. You guys have got it. Go pick that up, man.
You're gonna love this because I have it. You're gonna hate it because it's sealed up. But here it is.
What?
I actually have a 9/8.
There's the cover. There it is.
That's it right there.
Crack that and read it. There you go.
Hold on, crack that, brother. Crack that.
This was given to me as a gift.
That cover is
even more of a reason to crack that motherfucker. You ain't spent nothing on it.
That was given to me as a gift. Anyways, all right, we're getting way off topic here. Chet agrees War Journal was fire.
And he says you'll get to it in 2028.
Yeah, that'll be part of the OMNI X-Men Wolverine edition in 2030. All right,
here we go.
Keep it going. All right, so wanted to highlight these panels, especially because of the fact that we see Mariko going through her own thought process here of everything, recognizing that her dad is he lost it. He has no honor within him, and she realizes she's going to have to do something about it.
Yep.
So she's already in that thought process of, how am I going to go? How am I going to handle this? What am I going to do? Meanwhile, you get these other cool panels of seeing Yukio as she's trying to sneak in ahead of time, trying to beat Wolverine there. Also trying to get back to the castle, top of the castle here. Of course, doesn't quite work out. You can see that she gets caught here. Those what do you call those? The nets, the rope with the rope. Yeah,
the nets.
It's impossible to get around those things. I try at least every Monday. All right, and then along with that, we also get, and I'm going to go back to those, but we also get Mariko going to talk to her dad, but she sees that at that time he has her locked up, Yukio, and is about to punish her for going against him, and she tries to explain, like he asks her, like, why did you do what you do? Were you trying to kill me? What was up? Why did you disobey? All this other stuff, and she explains, on what she did to Wolverine's friend and everything else, and trying to make it up. And then on top of that, she asked for forgiveness, but he's like, look, you're going against my word. I can't have that. It sets a bad example. I'm going to have to kill you. And so as he starts to beat her, we get Mariko who walks in and actually interrupts everything, which I would assume is like just this big, no when it comes to, you don't mess with the master's work when he's trying to do something. But he was going to kill Yukio. So you have all that, and then meanwhile they get a radio call that some of the other walls of the protection, the line essentially is not answering. He's like, hello, who's there? What's going on out there? He realizes that the castle's been breached, and that as you see these bodies laying in each of these scenes, all the different sceneries, the different colors, the different backgrounds, and the hand is just like, it's no more. So with all this, Morb, I'm going to pass it over to you. What are your thoughts with Mariko?
All I'm going to say is like Frank Miller was ahead of his time with that, iPhone that fucking he has in his hand. Because when I looked at it, I was just like, dude, that looks like a smartphone.
It does.
Like, that does not look like a walkie-talkie. Doesn't look like the traditional, for the era and the time. I'm like, dude,
those original phones were freaking huge. Those,
you know what I'm saying? With the big ass antenna on it, and it was great. That looks like an Android, if you ask me. But I think fucking Android, right? It's man. They keep shitting on iPhones. But anyway, to me, when to see that where he was like, to have his daughter come out, right?
Yeah.
He was trying to prove a point.
Yeah.
That's how I took it. He was trying to instill, a certain standard,
right?
To his daughter, and also to Yukio. He was just trying to he's playing both sides in the sense that he's like, I'm going to show you you know, how we deal with this. And at the same time, with Yukio, he's like, I'm going to teach you, you know, what it is to be what it is, what you need to be. But at the same time, the fact that you lack that you're unable to achieve what it is that I need you to be, now I got to teach you a lesson, you know, and I'm going to do it in front of my daughter, you know, because he's such a piece of shit, right? He's such a piece of shit. He's a piece of shit because to do that in front of your daughter, you know, to show so much violence and hatred, you know, and then use the whole code of honor, right?
Yep.
He plays on the code of honor. So, like what you said, Justin,
yeah,
he keeps
bothered the heck out of
utilizing.
me. Yeah,
He keeps utilizing honor to justify his actions.
Yep.
You know, and it's so obvious right here. Like this right here is it's like the pinnacle of the bullshit of what he's trying to do.
Yep. Yeah, he's just trying to manipulate.
Manipulate. He is totally exposed right here. Like this is where he put all his cards out on the table, basically.
And we all know it's too freaking late, anyways. He's getting calls, people saying like, "Hey, by the way, the guy's coming to kill you is here." Like,
right.
Your appointment to die.
Right. So now he's trying to flip it. You know what I mean? He's trying to use the whole honor code and
too late.
You know, but it's too late. It's too late. It shows your lack of honor. You know, but he's disguising it, you know, with this whole persona of like, you know, oh, well, this is how you have to go about it to achieve the honor.
Yeah.
You know, but it's your rules. Like he created these rules now, you know, to achieve this honor. So when you look at it from that perspective, you start to realize like, bro, like this bullshit. Like you created your own fucking reality to get away with your bullshit. You know, and this is what it is right here. And she saw right through it, you know, and
look at and art. I want to get into art a little bit because if you go back one page, Justin, the negative space here.
Yeah.
Look at all the like lack of Claremont front loaded us, right? He trusted Miller to take over. And look what Miller does with all this. And then you go to the next page. You get the steam of the dying hand, all the same panels and backgrounds again, that green panel, that wall, the blue and blue on double blue panel at the bottom.
Now, what I appreciate
now it's all the steaming dead hand guys instead.
Yep.
What I appreciate in this is that once again, with Wolverine using that weapon, you don't see him using it. You don't see him using it. So I appreciated that.
Yeah.
You know, I appreciated that. The fact that they made the insinuation that it was used, you see the arrows and everybody,
right?
You know, but you didn't actually see him using it. So it kind of like deflates the whole thing with him, you know, being a weapon.
They didn't overdo it. They didn't like
they didn't exactly. It wasn't like a Punisher issue where he's there like
two machine guns and like
like fucking going at it, like, and it kind of like deflates his whole ability of actually being able to do it without it.
It just showed the aftermath.
Right, exactly.
So it lets your imagination kind of take over.
So I appreciated that. You know, so when I saw that, I was like, you know what? I didn't agree with the fact of him using a weapon, but I appreciate the fact of how they went about it.
Right.
They didn't just make it a cover and
it didn't water him down.
Actually plays out.
Right. Yeah. So that's how I feel about that for sure.
For sure.
Yep. Yeah, Candace says, love the solid color blocking. So good. Yeah, for sure. I'd like to keep that theme going throughout that. So going into this next bit here. So we get the husband, Mariko's who he's just like the father, right? And she says that. She compares a lot of that to him too, is that her husband just same thing, like no real honor, uses honor in a way to manipulate things. He's really just a coward. And he even says he's like, oh, you know, Shenjin's like, Wolverine has arrived, and he's like, well, face him if you wish, but I prefer to live. He's like, I'm out of here. So he tries to leave. He tries to pull Mariko, and as he does, they get stopped by Wolverine. We get to see Wolverine in action, up close and personal now, as he breaches them. And at first you just see his shadow, which I love. This panel next to John here, I just absolutely love the silhouette that you see. And then he threatens, he puts a gun to his own wife. So clearly, you know, like, which we knew, like he didn't really love her. He was just doing, you know, just being with her just for the honor, for the level that brought him up, you know, being with someone like her. Yeah. So he puts a gun to her, threatens her. And luckily as things are going on, you hear that thunk, thunk, thunk. and it ends up being Yu-Gi-Oh who comes back in. Which you almost like forget for a second that she's there, even though the whole scene's started with her getting beaten up, and choked out by Shinjin. So I like that. She comes back, and in a way, like, she saves Mariko, even though she hates Mariko technically, and because that's her. That's I like
that out loud. Sorry,
she slices. I'm like, yeah, John, you're not muted. John, you're not muted.
We heard that.
Slices her clothing, even says it to him, and then she kisses Wolverine there, and Wolverine lets her go, and kind of explains why he lets her go within that, because of he says, I can't forgive her for Asano, but I can never repay her for helping him with Mariko. So at that point, it's like a break even kind of thing, and lets her go. Meanwhile, they bring out the sword. I love how he's like crouching Wolverine as he gets ready. Talking about he's like, am I worthy now? Because you didn't say I was worthy before. Last time we fought with some wooden swords, but we're not doing that now. So am I worthy now? And I love, am I worthy? And you see that shadow all the way to the far end there as he's crouching down.
The fangs, the fangs when he's like,
oh man,
the close-up of the fangs, and the red and black, and then of course, we jump right into the action scene. So
before we get too far, I want to can you blow me up real quick? I wanted to show something I noticed on the reread. So this was the they're sneaking in. I noticed that like the panels are in the exact same space, like the red brick wall. Like notice that they're like right at the same height, like across the page. Like this green wall, just like the green wall. This blue with blue
red
in
on
the background, this blue and blue in the background there. Like they're all the same height going right down. And it's like ninjas there. Ninjas dead.
No ninjas.
And in between you have a full like 2 pages of story, but like I dig the exact detail to the art style that Frank Miller brings.
Is that an original? Oh, that's the
trade. I was not flipping a comic. No.
Well, I just saw. I was going to say that the color was really bright for that. I thought.
Chet,
that was
don't worry. Color. Deep breath. Take deep breaths. I'm here for you.
Brother. I know Chet is losing his mind. He's like, why is Morbius?
More. Let's see that page again. Hold on. Which page was he was talking about?
That page again, real quick.
Oh dear Lord.
That is a nice page. Yeah.
Hold on a second.
Hold on, Chet.
You want me to one-hand it? I can
one-hand it.
Yeah. We can one-hand it,
With some Cheetos.
He's gonna have to go to the bathroom after this. Clean those drawers, brother. Clean those drawers.
Look at Chet says
this. Look. Look how much silence is on these 3.
Yes.
What is it? 4 pages here.
Right. Yes.
Right.
And it's been set up, right? In issue 1. In issue 1, we had the wooden sword fight, but now we got the real deal. It's been set up, and now we get to just watch it play out.
Exactly. And I thought that it was so symbolic when, the garment from Mukio, like that piece of fabric that was, the scarf or whatever you want to call it,
right,
is very symbolic, guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like she took that from her, put it on him. And when you read into that, you understand where the heart of Wolverine is at. You know what I mean? When you look at it as he's wearing his love.
Yep.
And she kind of understood that. She kind of rejected it at the same time, but she understood where his heart was at because she hated Wolverine. She was like, fuck, I don't want to love you, but I do. Yep. I want to, but I don't.
Yeah.
But she understood that where his heart was, it wasn't with her.
Yeah.
She understood that, and wearing her garment, her piece of her clothes on him, it was almost like solidifying that, where she kind of like was like, you know what? I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. And Wolverine, having that and her kiss to Wolverine was almost like a kiss goodbye.
Yeah, a farewell.
And that's technically what it was, and she took off and was gone, because she knew her position, she knew her place, and it wasn't with Wolverine, and I think like these panels here with him wearing, her garment, like is very symbolic you know, and it really tells like a lot more than what we see, you know, emotionally. So I think, and of course, that whole crouching down, and man, that's the fucking amazing panels, man. Amazing.
I have to say, during these scenes here, my first read through, for whatever reason, I missed like how she tied that on around his neck.
Yeah.
And so when I got to these pages, like the one right next to John, and I see him in this blue, I was like, what? Where did you get that from? I was like, was that an error? Like,
what the fuck is
Frank Miller drinking at this time? What's going on there? I didn't know.
He got a little chilly or something.
I was like, did I miss something? I'm like, I thought it was the omnibus edition or something, like, where Wolverine stays warm or something.
He's doing a little drag,
or a cape. Yeah, or a cape or something, you know.
What's going on there?
But you know, MORB, you make great points. It's a heavy moment and heavy messaging behind that as to why, you know, the representation of what that even shows. So I agree. I also say at the end that the last page on this slide, I had read this again. I'd like to point this out, but I read this digitally, and swiping through and seeing the sword move the way it did, and then seeing his hand block the one, and then his fist come up, and then you just see Snicket and his eyes, red eyes. It just looked. It was amazing. Like that is like. I mean, it's so. However you read it, it's just amazing. So, these fight scenes were really well done. John, anything you want to add to this? I know we had kind of covered.
I mean, I love that MORB went to the place of metaphor here, because there's definitely a ton of metaphor here. Because really, you could go full Freudian on this. The idea of the wife needing you to supplant dad, right? You're replacing dad in her life when you become the husband, when you become so. This is literally that story, right? He has to prove himself worthy of the daughter by supplanting the dad. And that in this particular story means killing his ass, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, there's even the like metaphor of the like sword, which is like dad trying to cut you down with his man thing. And Wolverine has to grab it. And then he has to like pop his own claws in dad's face and just be like, no, you can't cut me down. I'm going to cut you down and earn your daughter is ultimately what's happening here, right? He's earning through Mariko.
Being worthy.
There is a form of respect here.
Yeah.
There's a form, for those who don't see it, that Wolverine is showing respect.
Culturally, you look at that samurai culture that we're really diving into here. Wolverine has to catch the sword. He pulls it closer, right? Pulls him in, because you're not going to hurt me with your little blade, because I got 3 of them. I'm put them right in your face, right in your smirk. Look at dad with the smirk, and he's just like, pow, just basically pops the claws right in his face. And
those red eyes to me really signified
color. Really great color work.
Right. Those red eyes were not like, you know, joyous.
No.
They were not, that death was not done with joy. You get what I mean? Like it wasn't a pleasing killing.
And you know, the use of red all through these pages.
Correct.
Tim Stacey's in the chat, by the way. Shout out to Tim, our original artist for this season.
We just mentioned you.
His links are down below. Shout out to you, Tim. Thanks, brother.
Thanks for swinging by, man. Bobby, good catch here. He says, I didn't know Man Thing was in this comic. Yeah, John did refer to
I got a little Freudian.
So
got a little Freudian on you.
I like that you caught that. Let's see. JP says, Yukio, the best non-Wolverine character in this story. Yeah, man.
Yeah, man, definitely.
Ryan says, I love these fight scenes. Yeah, I'm with you. All right, let's get to this last page here, or last set of pages, as I should say. A lot of mixed feelings here. So we start with, you know, Mariko comes through after the deed is done. She comes through. She sees. She calls for Logan. She calls for her father. She sees now what's in front of him, of her, and meanwhile, Wolverine's thinking in his head like, man, I see her reaching for the sword. I could stop her right now. I could take that sword from her. I could kill her if I wanted to. I could, you know, take full control, but I'm not going to, because I mean, this is how he feels for her, as we've been talking about. So I love these scenes, these close up, these side shots of like Wolverine, the shadows that kind of fall on their faces, with the fencing or whatever that is in the background. And then meanwhile, she takes time to explain that if you weren't going to do it, essentially, I was going to do it because my father has been way out of line for many years now at this point, and she's finally seeing it and being able to speak up. And she's like, if you weren't going to do it, I was going to do it. And Wolverine says, luckily, I got to him first so that she didn't have to. She was going to kill him and then kill herself, all out of honor. And that obviously would have went in a very different way. So luckily Wolverine was able to do the deed first. But yeah, on top of that, she hands Wolverine the sword, saying, not only did you earn this, but you are worthy of a sword such as this, unlike someone like my father. Hands him the sword that's been within their clan, and obviously very meaningful. And the very thing that's been a nightmare to Wolverine, not being worthy, finally is kind of coming to connect again where he is, and put his mind at ease. So they have this nice moment. They kiss in the dark as all you see is that one glimpse of them, again talking about the negative space being used the way it is. Very quiet scene. And then I'm just going to jump right on that last page there. I loved, and was not expecting this at all, but I loved that I see my team, like the X-Men, the way I I know this has all been so Wolverine focused, but it was so nice to see it be the way they did this here with these last few pages, and see the whole gang reading this letter. It's them getting married, the announcing the wedding, Wolverine talking to the elf saying, don't forget the beer. It just brought you right back to everything, for me anyways, everything I love about the X-Men, and their camaraderie, their friendships, their relationships, and the inside jokes and the beer and everything else. Like, I just love that they did all that right after this other moment of heaviness. Like, we had 2 heavy pages to close it out, and then we get this much lighter, and obviously it's going to tie into some future episodes that we're going to get into. But man, I thought this was so well done. I'm going to send it to you guys though. John, what were your thoughts here on these final set of panels that we're going through?
I mean, yeah, we've been talking about the function of negative space, the function of shadow, the function of inking. Yeah. And look at these freaking panels, man. They're just not lights out. They're just lights out. They're amazing. And that final panel is so good. They use it for the freaking cover for 172 in a couple of issues. So it's like they basically recognize, wow, that we hit the nail on the head here. We're going to take this right into the regular issues. That's great. I absolutely love it. And this, especially some of the stuff they're doing right at the end there. Yeah, really.
Totally. More, what about you? What are your thoughts here with these ending panels?
I mean, John already said it, man. There's just so many dynamics to these last panels. All the negative space, the inking is just amazing. And there's just that, validation, to Wolverine, McCall, like that whole connection where this right here solidifies it for Wolverine, where he's now achieved what he's been fighting for this whole time. Her acceptance of his loyalty, his honor, and to be able to achieve that, to him, it was just pinnacle. Like when he said, I could take that sword from her easily. Yeah. But to him, it was like, that's not the point. What I mean? Like, this is not why, her holding that sword has nothing to do with her wanting to harm me physically. To him, it was an achievement spiritually. It was more of a mental thing for him, for her to tell him these things. He wanted to hear it. Right. He wanted to hear it, and when he heard it, it just solidified his moment in time in this book right here, where he was like, you know what? I finally achieved what it is that I wanted to achieve. And I fought so hard for it, and I sacrificed so much for it. And now to have you accept me and show me that honor catapults it just took it to the next level. And then that final page, like you said, with the X-Men, man, you got the whole crew there, you got everybody hanging out. They're so excited. You see,
happy feeling.
He's like cheesing and shit. You know what I mean? Like, and just seeing everybody, and then him actually that last panel of him like, hey man, don't forget the beer, like you said. Like these are things that bring you back to like human, like, you know what I mean? It makes you feel so relatable to it that in your mind you're like, yeah, bro, don't forget the fucking beer, man. Right. Like, like, dude, don't forget the beer. Right. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you could so relate with this, like so like, on par with how we would look at life, that I think that this really translated so well. and how it just like bridged that gap where they took it back, you know, the uncanny, you know, like, so I know guys you probably have, but I had to pull it out.
Yeah.
You know, they like having this, like, you know, the continuity is one of the things that I love and I cherish, you know, as you know, a collector and a comic reader. Is like continuity to me is so big. So to see this, you know, was so amazing, and to bring it back to the X-Men, you know, series. Like after reading this and then going to the X-Men series, it was like, man, this shit is awesome. Like they just, you know, this is what we live for.
Yeah.
You know, and to see that connection, that bridge, you know, was amazing. To end it this way so amazingly, and then to jump, you know, to 172, it was just like, man, this is just like, you know, the cherry on top. You know what I mean? Like, couldn't get any better than this, you know. And for somebody who's a big continuity guy, like, I really enjoyed this. And I mean, what can you say, man? It was a great ending to a great series, and you gotta love it, man. If you don't have it, you should be ashamed of yourself.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I wanted to highlight something back here that Dan had said. Talking about, he said, I teach martial arts. Even the grand masters here in the States aren't truly accepted by their Asian counterparts, no matter what country. Japan, China, Korea. Wolverine has a tall order to prove his worth. Yeah. So interesting stuff there. All right, guys, we reached the end of this one. Before we get into the numbers and everything else, I want to get just a general feedback. How would you grade this book or these books, I want to say, and really just focusing on 3 and 4, and then if you want us give an overall of all 4, just you know, you can do that as well. But John, I'll start with you. Where do these 2 fall for you, just in general, and then how do you compare them overall to the whole series?
I mean, it's the greatest Wolverine comic, period. Like, there's just nothing else. And there's, I love the limited series stuff. I love the Weapon X stuff that Barry Windsor Smith does later on. There's lots of good things to read, but it's all birthed from what's happening right here. So it's, I mean, I struggled not to call it a 10 last time when we chatted about issues 1 and 2. And I know because Morb is here, and he's not you know, screwed 9-8 in slab, I'm just going to call it a 10 out of 10 and just do it as a 10 instead of giving it a slab grade. I'm just going to give it a grade, 10 out of 10. That's just great.
Nice.
Yeah, man. I think like this book right here is so important to people who have, you know, who started this at a young age, you know, and I think it's very how can I say, detrimental to a comic collector who started this book and who started collecting young, and to get this at a young age is amazing. It really changes the way you view things, you know, as a collector, as somebody who's interested in comics, you know, fuck collector, fuck all that. Somebody who's interested in comics, you know, somebody who sees something and it's like, man, this is awesome. Like, I want to continue reading this to see what happens next. Yeah. Like that's all it is. It's just, I want to see what happens next. Yeah. You know, because I'm already involved. I'm already, you know what I mean? Like, committed to this. So I want to see what happens next. And I think that, you know, this series was so impactful when it comes to that, you know, especially at that time where we were getting so many new things. And that's something that I guess gets watered down today, because you got to understand that at that time, like, this was new. You know, today we look at Wolverine and we're like, yeah, it's Wolverine. Yeah, Wolverine, Hulk 181, Hulk 180, yeah, jerk. But at that time, like, this shit was new. Like, no one, like, you didn't know about Wolverine. Like, you had no clue what the fuck was right. Like, you was just figuring this shit out. So imagine, like, all these new iconic figures coming out at a time where, you know, there was such a big dramatic change in the comic book industry, where you had all these iconic figures coming out at a certain point in time where it was just like, holy shit. Like, I'm getting this, I'm getting that, I'm getting, you know, so many amazing characters, so many amazing stories and artists. So it's hard for guys, you know, for people now to look back at it. But when you go back to that time, where imagine thinking there's no Wolverine. You know, imagine like think about it. Like there's none of these iconic figures did not exist. And then they're just giving
Wolverine, Colossus, Nightcrawler.
Right. Like all these figures are just being thrown at you.
Yeah.
You know, one year after another, and you're just like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Like,
I mean, we're about to read the Magic and Storm miniseries coming up here. Talk about two characters that came onto the world together. We're bringing these iconic characters in.
And we're reading them 30, 40 years later. You know, so you could imagine being there at that time, you know? So that's why I say, like, these books are so important, so iconic, you know what I mean, to readers now, that if you can't appreciate these books, then I don't know what to tell you. Right? You know, I really don't know what to tell you, because they're so important to what we have now, you know, and we need to look back at the past to appreciate the future.
Yeah,
you know, and I think that that's missed in this, you know, in the, you know, what we're going through now in the comic community. We kind of like don't really understand, like, when these books came out, it was fucking detrimental, man. This shit changed your life.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? You was a kid and you're like, who's this guy with claws and he just doesn't give a fuck, and he just like could take anything on, and he's 5'2", 300 fucking pounds. You know what I mean? It's like, and me being a short guy, you know, I'm like fucking 5'6", 170 pounds. So I'm like, you know, I love this guy. Like, he reminds me of me. Like, I wish I could be like him. Right. You know, so it's like you're so relatable with these people. And you know, I really appreciate this series, because this is a series that cemented my love for Wolverine and my love for Frank Miller, my love for Claremont. You know what I mean? Like, these really cemented, you know, those foundations for these people and these characters that to now, you know, 30, 40 years later, they still live on in my life. It's amazing, you know, and that's something that we need to appreciate, you know, and not take it lightly. You know what I mean? Because we've kind of like, you know, we're oversaturated nowadays. You know, we get so much that you kind of like, you know what I mean? It's like, if you got $100, you know, every day, $100 ain't shit to you. You know what I mean? You get what I'm saying? Like, but if you got $100 once a year, you would really fucking appreciate it. You know what I mean? And I think like now we're so oversaturated with stuff that we don't really take the time to appreciate things like we did back in the days, you know? And I think that that's why these people and these figures and these artists are so iconic, because they were so far and few. Yeah. And people learn to appreciate them, that now we look back and we're like, oh my God, these are classics. But when you was there at that time, they weren't classics. They were just amazing.
Yep.
Right.
Somebody joked, Bobby. I think Bobby joked, if this book came out today, you'd have like 700 covers. Like,
the various number.
You know, you have various.
Let me just say the chat's been on fire. You all are
great.
Great.
They've been holding it down. They've been holding it down.
It's been really, really good.
You know, and you're right. You know, you have fucking so many variants. You have the 1 in 1,000, the 1 in 5,000, the 1 in 100, and it's ridiculous. But at the end of the day, these are books that are so amazing. These are the books that made us who we are today. You know, that make us want to chase the books that we're chasing today, is because of this right here. This mini series right here is amazing. Like when Paul says one of the best, like I agree with him, you know, because out of so many miniseries, like this one right here, it has transcended, you know, ages, like decades. Like it's so beyond what we see now with what we see today, that you're looking at a book that's like 40 fucking years old, man. Yeah. And people are still like bowing down to it.
They're still making trades. They're still producing it. Like, they're putting it out.
It's next level when you look at it from that point of view.
So like, I'd be curious, because this is the first time Justin's ever read it. Yep. Like how did it hit
Justin
all this time later?
I'm not gonna say that. I'm gonna DM you on the side. The fact that I just realized that me and you're gonna have a conversation, bro.
Well, that's what happens when you get into it when you're 29 years old. It's like you're not in the same,
if only you had a dad who could have encouraged.
If only you had a dad that was like into comic books or
maybe
who dabbled in,
maybe opposite. Maybe I would have got into it.
It proves what sons and their dads really go through, right?
Like my
you
dad
like this?
Screw that.
Yeah, whatever he was doing,
my dad was a presser. He just pressed tuxedos. Like this motherfucker's dad, like actually did the comic book. Listen, guys, Web of Spider-Man #1. I'm gonna say that shit to this day, man. That was my first book that I picked up. I was 10 years old. It was the summer of 1985. My brother, I never forget that day, man. My brother took me to the fucking newsstand comic shop, and he told me you could pick any book you want. And I picked up Web of Spider-Man #1. It was June 1985. It was the summer. I'll never forget. I was 10 years old, and I picked it up. And Lord behold, it was this man's father who did that. And to this day, man, I'm like, bro,
you spill your drink.
I spilled my drink, and I'm like, yo, hands down, man. Like this guy, like I'm telling you, man. Like when I first found out that was your dad, like I'm like, what the fuck? Like, like I'm mad. I got mad at Justin. I'm like, wait a minute, you started fucking collecting now? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
You're offended.
I was offended, bro. I was just like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but at least he found the true faith. He found the faith. So
I had to do it on my own, man. Had to do it on my own.
You had to walk your own path.
It's just like music. I can't do it if someone else tells me to check out something and tells me over and over, like, listen to this music. I have to find it on my own. Like I have to,
exactly.
I get, pushed away.
Well, you're here now. You found the Miller Claremont.
Yeah.
How would you grade this?
Dude, this is, to me, was, and again, this is coming from somebody who, and correction, 3 years now, 2020 is when I got into X-Men. This is coming from somebody who, did not read anything of X-Men up until 2020 when the pandemic shut everything down. And I decided, because I sat at my kitchen table and I had an extra hour every day because I didn't have to drive into work because we weren't allowed to drive into work. I had an extra hour. So I decided, let me try something new. And the way I decided it was because it was, as MORB, as both of you highlight, Claremont's run has always been talked about as epic. And so I said, I want to read something epic. So let me try that. That was literally the only thing that pushed me to this. Was I hear a lot of people say this is an iconic read. This is something that a lot of people enjoy to this day. So, okay, I'm a new reader, but that's okay. I'm just going to get into it. I'm going to give it a shot, even though this was written back in the 70s. And I just fell in love with the characters. People who follow me, the story. But yeah, so reading all the way up till here, and Omni X-Men is like a big part of why I've continued to be like the fan I am. Like I am taking it at a pace that I'm not like trying to overload or overly binge something. Like I'm a mood reader. I got to be in the mood for it too. So I don't overread too much X-Men at once.
And then
but
you
I
had a friend who forced you to buy an omnibus.
Yes,
and
well,
that's
no, I was kidding. And then but that's what like reading these books. I'm glad that I've got to do it in this way, and read it up to where we are now, going to this very series. Because I never read it. I've always seen these covers. I always see wall books. These are always the part of the wall books people selling every time, and I'd always look at it and be like, and John, I told you after the show last week, and this was not on the show, but I had text John saying like how much more of a fan I am becoming now of Wolverine from this series that I wasn't prior to this series. Not to say I wasn't a fan. I think Wolverine's really cool. He just was never like, from reading this stuff, this everything we've read up to, he wasn't my favorite. He didn't. Let me put it this way: he didn't stand out in a way that they're all the same to me. They all were great. They're all, these core 5, with a few others sprinkled in, are all my favorites. And so that's kind of where it's been. But now reading this and getting this background specifically of Wolverine definitely changed the way that I look at this character. And like MORB, you're right. Like I am one to not have these experiences yet because I just haven't read I just haven't had the time, to read all this stuff. And I'm going through it for the first time as a new reader. I'm only been in, 5 years coming up in August, guys, that I've been reading comics. 5 years. I'm a baby.
And I'm going to tell you right now, I commend you, Justin, because in this short time that you have been in the comic community and collecting comics, you have achieved so much. You have read so much. You have dug yourself into the trenches that it's like, you got to salute you, brother. You know what I mean? Like, you can't deny the fact that you put in that work to understand and know what the fuck you talking about.
Totally. I want to know, like, the effort's there.
I'm gonna tell you right, like, that's something I always say, because you have a lot of new guys that come into the game and they're just fucking clueless, and then when you talk to somebody like Justin, it's like, bro, this guy's like reading shit, and you're like, hold on a second, let me I need to let me refresh myself before we have that conversation. And that's what the fuck it's about, and that's what encourages me, and it makes me feel good when I hear guys like you and your background. It was like, man, that's fucking amazing, man. It's inspiring, you know what I mean, to hear, somebody who's got in the game not too long ago, but yet you could stand your own with guys who've been on this for fucking 20, 30 years. Yep. You know what I mean? You could sit there and have a conversation with somebody and not falter. Right. You know what I mean? And that's what is impressive to me. And I always salute you, brother. We need to do this comic relief again, man. I'm gonna take it back. You need to get back to comic relief, man. We need to bring you back, bro.
Let me know, man. Let me know. I appreciate it, man. And like I said, this has been a journey. And so to read these issues the way we're breaking them down here now in my first experience, and again, reading them, once in omnibus format, once in digital format, just I'm loving everything about it. And I love, like, I'm new to Frank Miller. Like, I'm still learning. Like, I'm talking to Daryl on the side. We're, getting back into Daredevil, all that other stuff that I have not read yet. And I just know I'm excited. I feel lucky because I have all this stuff ahead of me that you guys already know that it's epic, like some of the Daredevil stuff, the Born Again stuff, like all that I'm about to get into for the first time, and I know some of you would kill to have that for the first
what I'm saying? To have that, brand new feeling again. Yes, like, you're fucking lucky, bro.
Like, turning each page, seeing each panel, I'm like, ooh, I've never seen this before. So I'm excited for that. I don't want to extend any further, but I appreciate everybody's comments here. Like, the chat's been awesome. People putting out some really cool stuff. So
the benefit is you stayed up so late that JP's gone to bed.
I see that. I don't even have to hear.
He can't even bitch about Cyclops anymore.
I love it. I love it.
Don't wake up JP.
Yeah, exactly. Candace says, I asked Justin all my comments. It's true. She goes to you a lot. Yeah. And we talk a lot of it out. Hey, and like I mentioned before, but Candace and I, we're reading, we've gone into the depths of, Spider-Woman, a character that, is awesome. Not at the limelight of any movie or anything right now. And we're just exploring and having fun. So, I'm learning, we're learning as we go, and people talking to people like you guys, just, learning more about it as we go. So, there's JP. There he is. He's still there. He goes, Cyclops still sucks.
I'm still here, motherfuckers.
Bobby says, I'm reliving it through your eyes, Justin. Cheers, man. Appreciate the comments. Hondo's in the chat. What's going on? All right, let's all right, so we talked about the grades here. I mean, this whole thing's a 10 for me, like, overall, which is great. It's just, so I'm with you guys. I mean, it is so good. I want to collect it all, so that's my goal. So let's talk about the money real quick, just a brief period here that we put up.
Favorite part. He's gonna leave now. Everybody, it was great having him.
All right, I'm out of here. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you for having me on the show, man. I'm going right now.
So key elements, I just put, it's the third issue. That there's no, I mean, it's in terms of first appearances and stuff. There was a 9.8. There's a couple on the census. Last one sold in 2016 for $1,200. So for this cover, $1,000. Like, I don't know if
here's what I love about Morb. He's the same. Like, I'm a little older, I think, but like, whatever. Like, for us, this was always like a $10, $20 book.
Yes, man.
You could get this book for $10 or $20, depending on how nice it looked. To see people dropping $1,200 for this book makes us both just go, come on, guys.
It's
great. I love it. It's great. You should read it. $1,200 is a down payment on a car.
Right.
Fuck out of here. Fuck out of here.
It's, I mean, 9.9. It is a lot of money.
How about you guys just buy a really clean raw book, right?
Put
for
in
like
some Mylar and
for like 70% less price.
throw it in.
You know what I'm saying?
Mylar.
And then take a shot on grading it. You know, and see what you get.
Yeah.
See what you get.
And then crack it after.
And then crack it afterwards. You know what I mean? But don't fucking buy a slap. But I'm sorry, just a gag.
Oh, I want to highlight, this is a good point too. Candace said earlier, she said, she goes, I mean, I just started reading X-Men last year, but more seriously this year. Yeah. So Candace is new too, getting into this stuff, by the way. I wanted to highlight that. And because of the show, she's really gotten involved.
Yeah. She's been one of the most like supportive and hardcore friends in this chat, and not afraid. And what I love about our chat and our friends and our homies, she's in the, you're in the comfort of truth here, the friends family circle here. She can be like, who the heck is that person? Yeah, Amanda Sefton. Who the heck is this person?
Totally.
Nightcrawler's been on 3 blind dates with, and everyone ends with like him in a jacuzzi and like explosions. I get you. I appreciate you, Candace, on a whole new level for sticking with us this season.
Listen, she's 100%. Sticking with you guys. She's actually hanging out with me on my show, which is fucking like that says volumes. You know what I mean? Like, she's not afraid to talk on the show. She's like, you know what? Yeah, I go watch Morbius, even though you motherfuckers be hating. You know what I'm saying? Like, salute to Candace, man. She's not afraid. She's not afraid, man.
I love it.
She's hardcore. Hardcore.
She is scared. She is scared.
No.
Here's the Wolverine 4, just so you guys know. The money definitely goes down as you get to this 4th issue, but a 9/8 is $240 fair market value. There is a 9/9, couple of them out there. I still would like this in as crisp of condition as possible if I could get it. So.
$140. Come on, guys. Like, you could get a raw book and probably get a 9/8 out of it for like fucking 60 bucks, man.
Yeah, I got my eye on one for 50.
Come on, man. Like, you could get a clean listen, I got some 9/8s here and they're raw, man.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to buy a fucking like a graded book, man. Like,
you just can't get Morbius's because he
you know what I'm saying? You know, I get it. You know, not everybody has the experience to grade a book and they don't understand what they have. So I understand that. You know what I mean? But if you have some kind of insight, man, like just you know, get that raw, man. Like, you know, and then grade it. Send it to get graded. You know, and if it's not a 9/8, crack it and fucking press it and send it again. You know what I mean?
We're not gonna let Morbius preach here. We're gonna get into church here. This is a great comment.
I wanted to highlight this. Conlon said, I hadn't read this series in forever. He binged it today because I really wanted to tune in. Better that I even remembered. Man, I appreciate you doing that, man. Conlon's been great. I got to hang out with him several times. He's such a good dude. He's a local.
You haven't hanging out with me. I don't know what's going on, man.
You're too south, man. You're too south, man.
Too south. I'm like 20 minutes away. You hear this cocksucker? I'm like 20 minutes away.
Dude, you're with me when I hang out with Conlon. We've been together both times I hung out with Conlon. I was talking about how I've seen him twice. Literally, Morbius has been with me both times. Oh my God. All right, gang. All right, so let's get into the questions here because we're wrapped up here. Appreciate everybody hanging out on this 2-hour stream. We knew this was going to be a long one. But we appreciate everybody hanging out. All right, so let's get into the questions here. Don't go away.
This is what Justin's got to read next, right, Morb?
Yes,
this is what Justin's reading
next.
It's on my list.
It's right here.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Right there.
I can't wait.
Just making sure we're on the same page. Yeah.
So, quick reminder: we're looking for 2 correct answers, 1 funny answer, but the funny answer is something that that Morbius has to deem as funny. So you got to make sure you can play to his humor. So we're looking for 2 correct answers, 1 funny or wrong answer to these questions. So we'll start it off with John, and John, take it away.
Oh, as a reminder too, I'm happy to throw in this into my giveaway at the end of the season. So if you want to read this, if you want a nice trade of these issues, it also includes issues 172 and 173, so you can continue the Mariko storyline and what's going on with Logan. So if that's something that interests you, get in the running here and answer some correct questions.
Yep, good point.
I'm going to kick it off. This is about issues 1 and 2 of Wolverine. My question is, what does Wolverine do to Mariko's fiance when Logan learns that he beats her? When Logan learns that her fiance is beating her, what does Logan do? What does Logan do?
To clarify, you might get a couple answers here, John, that I think are considered correct.
I might.
That I think are considered correct.
What does he do
John,
to the guy?
John does have 1 correct answer.
there's one answer I'm looking for. We'll see what happens in the chat.
Yeah.
I'm looking for some laughs too. What would Wolverine? What do you think Wolverine's gonna do? Maybe you don't. Maybe you didn't read the issue. Maybe you don't know.
Yeah.
True.
Funny JP, wrong. No, he does not. He does not beat the crap out. We wish. That's wish fulfillment.
We hope.
Yeah, we were hoping for some adamantium to skull moment.
Right,
Does not
exactly.
play out that way.
Bobby said he calls social services.
That would be the Cyclops solution, but no, that is not. That's not the way he rolls.
Albert loves how it cracks his slab.
Cracked his slab. There you go. So
That's
we've
my
already
guy.
found the correct funny answer. Albert may have already won over the judge.
Conlon says phone Cyclops.
Oh, Cyclops. Hey, Cyclops, I got this problem. Help me out.
He does the Macarena.
He does the Macarena.
It sounds out of character.
Dude, I haven't heard that in so long, man. The Macarena.
After this, we're gonna jam out to it.
Still waiting for 2 correct answers. I still have not seen 2 correct answers. Still haven't seen it.
This guy with his head. That's
There's
interesting.
2 options I'm willing to accept. I've seen one in the chat.
See one.
You can copy and paste if you want to join in and get a correct answer here.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying.
Come on, guys.
Get in on this action.
Come on, guys.
Some good funny ones here.
Yeah, it is.
The chat is always ready for jokes. I'm just saying. Waiting on that second correct answer.
Come on, guys.
He grabs her hand.
Everybody's reading the comic right now.
Yeah. They're all going back through.
They're all like, hold on a second.
I'm going to give it to JP and Chet.
Okay.
Grabs him and picks him up. However, I would have also accepted nothing. He doesn't do nothing to that guy.
No, right.
Mariko basically says, please don't hurt him. And Wolverine says, okay. Like, ultimately, he does jack shit to the guy.
Yeah.
Because Mariko talks him down. Mariko says, please don't hurt him. Like, he's my fiance. I know he sucks, but don't do it.
He's all I got,
However, on the comedy side, Morb, did you have a favorite? I'm assuming it's Albert because Albert did kind of slay that, but where are you going?
I seem like, if I go with hold on. Let me just go back. Let me go. I don't want to be,
He's gonna do his diligence.
Fair judging.
I gotta do my diligence here. Let me go back to where it started.
Jessica threatens to buy her raw.
See, Albert was playing at my heartstrings. He's pulling at my heartstrings.
He kind of hit a solid home run there.
I think I'm gonna go with Albert as far as the funny.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Take it away,
Congrats,
Albert. Nice job.
Well played, sir.
Well played. You know me too well, buddy.
All right, my first question is, and this is, not only did you have to read the book, but you had to tune in to know the answer to this one. Who did I say I thought showed up at the end of issue 1?
Ooh.
At the end of issue 1, I claimed in the episode that I actually thought it was someone else. Who was it that I thought showed up at the end of issue 1 from last episode?
Here's a hint. He was wrong.
Yes, very, very wrong. Very well. Wrong in the sense of not the right person, but they're both
in the right right nationality.
They're pretty dangerous.
So this is where your viewers drop and then they come back.
Yeah, exactly.
They go watch the YouTube video.
Everyone's like pausing this one. I'll be
pausing this one. Let me go.
Yeah.
Come back.
Put the sound on. Put the audio up there. Ryan playing the Diana Ross.
Apocalypse, Bishop from the Future.
Apocalypse, like that.
It has something to do with Marvel characters and ninjas.
Yes.
Ooh.
It is a hint to a Marvel character. Oh, Rachel Dinners. There it is.
Oh, Rachel Dinners.
Shout out to Chet and his spelling.
Yes. Conlon says Cyclops. Nope.
It's not.
JP Chod.
Right here.
Look at you guys.
Chet says Iron Fist. It's not a bad guess, but
not a male character.
Yeah, not female.
Not a male character. Because at the end of issue 1, if you
remember,
see it's
a female.
Yukio shows up and Justin Didn't think it was Yukio.
Okay.
Thought it was an older character.
Sunfire. That'd be funny if Sunfire showed up.
Sunfire.
Nobody wants that. Not even Sunfire wants that.
Listen, man, we
All
can
right.
do without Sunfire.
So hold on now, John, because I see some correct answers here. How do we play
Right.
this? Because I do see the correct answer is Electra, but is it Electra? I'm gonna give it to
just
Conlon.
because Conlon
You gotta give
this
it
is
to
Conlon's first correct answer. You are now in the raffle giveaway.
He's on the board.
Man.
All right, look at that.
And then we got Albert was
Put him on the
Segundo
board.
there.
Yep. On my side, I have Albert second, and then
Albert
just
second.
missed it. Brian says Angus McSquirter.
Jesus
Forgot about
Christ.
Angus McSquirter.
It's been a while. We haven't seen Angus in a while.
We have not seen Angus in a while. OJ Simpson, Bobby says.
Okay, hey, that'll work.
Colleen Wing, yeah. She could have shown up. Chat. Morb, any of these please you as a funny answer here?
Funny answer. Well, I kind of like, not for nothing. I know it's not, I like the Sunfire. I kind of like when it was a Sunfire, which I like that. That was
especially the way he says it. He
right.
says,
well, it was a Sunfire. I like it, but as far as being a correct answer, we got to go with the first person who said it. So where we at right here? Hold on.
You talking about for correct?
Yeah, correct answer.
Correct. We're giving to Conlon and Albert. Yeah.
Conlon, exactly. So as far as funny, I will go with William. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So
William
Bird on the board. Very nice. There you are, William.
That's William's fifth entry.
Oh, fifth. All right. I knew he had a couple already. All right, John, what's your second question there?
All right, my second question is, at the end, we have an assassination attempt go down and Wolverine trying to interrupt it. My question is, how were the assassins disguised? What were their disguises? Because there was many assassins. Because Wolverine, one guy is not a challenge. Wolverine kills a lot of guys. How were they disguised?
Yu-Gi-Oh.
I mean, that would be interesting.
Yu-Gi-Oh. That was good.
All right, let's see. We get
Samurai True.
You're getting some interesting answers, John.
Yeah, right.
I know you're looking for something specific.
Yeah, I feel like I've gotten one correct answer so far.
Yeah.
Work was at the book. They were disguised as Antifa.
I think. Yeah, I'm gonna wait for two more answers and see if I really love one, but I think I got two correct answers.
Yeah, there's some close ones for sure. Adam says they're all wearing Richard Nixon masks.
Ooh, a nice little Point Break throwback there. Is that what we're going with?
Right?
Yeah. I think I'm going to go with JP and William Bird. They were kabuki actors.
Okay.
So I think they were close enough. So William gets another point. JP gets another
actors
point.
in a play. Yeah.
Yep.
That was tricky.
Actors that were playing. They were being samurai in a play, the 47 Ronin. And then they leapt off the stage with their actual swords to fight.
Colin said Star Wars cosplay.
Star Wars cosplay.
I mean, they did have swords.
Yeah. More. What do you think? Any of these here that you want to choose as your funny answer?
Let's go with JP. You know what I mean? Because as far as what you want me to pick, funny.
Funny.
Yeah, funny.
Yeah.
Funny.
You're the funny choice.
I'm the funny guy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Candace, man. I really like that Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yu-Gi-Oh. All right. Yeah.
Yeah. I really thought that was fucking hilarious.
Because
it was so from the left. It was so.
So Candace gets the win there.
Yeah, Candace gets the win for the.
All
funny
right,
one.
Candace. Locked and loaded. That is Candace's
Stormtroopers.
Last
21 raffle tickets for Candace now.
Oh snap!
Ooh, wow.
All right, last question here of the night is: what was Shingen trying to do to Wolverine that Miracle wasn't aware of during their first fight with the wooden swords? During their fight with the wooden swords, what was Shingen trying to do to Wolverine that Miracle wasn't aware of? He talks a little bit about it, or at least he, in his head, thinks a little bit about some of the details of what's going on, what truly is going on during the first fight to test to see if he's worthy or not. I already see the correct answers.
Mhm.
So JP here, that's correct. Trying to kill him. He talks about how these hits are either going to paralyze someone or kill someone, and the way he's doing it, he is trying to kill me. So JP correct, Conlon correct, both on the board.
Conlon with 2 entries in one night.
Nice. Yeah, sorry, Chet. Just missed out on the slow internet. Got you there.
Yeah.
Williams is to bring out his animal nature,
which is true.
It's kind of true.
Fair truth. Yeah. He was trying to show Mariko that her beloved is not worthy of her, right?
Albert's reaching again. that worked once.
He's playing that one note. He's seeing if he can get another. You never know.
Albert, it worked once. That's it.
To be fair, he does have you laughing, Morb. He does.
But
Morb's like, let anyone else's hand up. It's like,
right. Anyone else?
Like, I know the answer. And Morb's like, anybody else?
Like,
yeah. So good. It's like it's like Hermione.
Chet was making sure he spelled killed correctly.
He's got to take that time. He's got to take that extra time. There it is. Jackson Roy Kirk pulling out a W right there.
He probably spelled it like 6 different incorrect ways before I came up.
He typed that shit like 8 times. It was like, hold on.
Bill,
Phil, what the fuck?
Grill. Trying to grill him.
Build? Like, what is it? Yeah, I'm crying. You guys.
All right, gang. There you have it. Another nice, solid 2-hour episode in the books.
Amazing.
Of course, we got to do it, my man, Morbius. Morb, thank you so much for joining us, man. We love having you on each and every season, man. You know that. You got a spot. You know, we'll always reserve a spot for you, man. So
appreciate you, fellas, man.
And now we're locking in issue 200 in season 5.
That's you, automatic.
Yes, 2025. I am here.
Exactly. So mark your calendar.
Mark your calendars, guys. 2025, July.
My iPhone doesn't go back that far. I don't even know.
Nah, man. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you. You two are some of the most amazing people in this community. Not only are you guys genuine, you know, you guys are so true to yourselves and you're honest with yourselves, and that's something that I appreciate from you guys. Like, I could truly sit down and have a conversation with you guys, and I know that it's coming from a genuine place, you know, and that's what I appreciate, whether you agree with me or not, you know. And I find that so important. You know, that the fact that we could sit down and have these adult conversations, you know, and we're not looking at each other like, fuck him, like, this guy's a dickhead, like, why? Like, that's so fucking corny. You know what I mean? It's so like immature and childish. Like, I'm just like so over it. But you guys, like, that's why it's like when you invited me, I was like, yes, I can't wait to fucking come on. I can't wait to bust these guys' balls and just fucking hang out and just shoot the shit. You know, like, I just fucking love it, you know. And when you guys come on my show and in the chat, I really appreciate it, man.
Hell yeah,
I truly do, guys, from my heart, man. I really do. And, you know, you guys are some amazing people. And, you know, I really wish I would have met you guys earlier, man. To be honest, man, I really do.
It's just a good excuse for me to come out there and force Justin to drive the 20 minutes to meet up with you.
There it is. There you go.
I'm gonna hold him accountable, man, because you know he is literally 20 minutes away from me. Yeah, I'm gonna hold him accountable on that. You know, John, you got an excuse. You're like on the other side of the United States.
West Coast.
You got.
We're on the same. Excuses. We're on the same coast, so yeah.
Me and you were literally in the fucking same county, bro. Like, you know what I mean? No fucking excuse, Justin. No, but honestly, guys, but thank you so much, man. Great show. Man. You guys are doing your thing, man. And yeah, man. And I gotta get. We gotta do something. There's gotta be something we gotta do. I'm like trying to figure out what can we do, but we gotta do something like just a one-time thing, you know, and really like, you know, bring everybody together and really have these conversations, you know.
Yeah, well, you know, we are definitely down. So
hell yeah.
All the way.
Oh hell yeah, man. And I appreciate you guys. And you once again, man, thank you so much. I'm hoping tomorrow, you know, I'm productive. You know, being at this time.
You need to get some freaking
Yeah, you're gonna-
sleep is what you need to do, man.
Listen, man, I am going straight to bed after this.
Yep.
I'm up at 5 a.m, so I don't know how I'm gonna do this, but you know what? It's well worth it. Hang out with you guys, get into these books, man, and talk about it. Thank you so much, man.
I appreciate you, sir.
There you have it. Well, make sure you guys, anybody watching, make sure you sub up to MORB, put his information in the chat. Also, make sure you're following up with John over on his channel as well, because we will be over there next week to go back to the main X-Men series. So looking forward to that to talk about 171. So keep it ready. John, who do we have next week?
We got JD Raging Cajun,
Hey,
my
okay.
20 minutes away,
JD.
homie.
Yeah, he's close to you.
He's like 20 minutes or 30 minutes away from me.
No
So
excuse.
we're going West Coast next time.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice. Shout out to JD, man.
All right, gang. Well, we'll wrap it up. So appreciate everybody hanging. Until next time, we will talk to you later.